Chapter 46. After being slapped by the middle-aged man, the stable was stunned and only managed to stabilize himself after retreating a few meters. Holding the jade box tightly, the stable didn't dare to let go because there were 3 illusory cloud beast cores inside. If anything happened, he wouldn't be able to pay for it. "Master Liu, what's wrong? Is there a problem?" the stable asked carefully after stabilizing himself. "What's wrong?" "There's a big problem." Liu Shan flew into a rage and kicked the stable. "Hurry up and apologize. If you don't satisfy young Master Ning today, I'll skin you alive." Young Master Ning? Who is young Master Ning? The stable was only in the middle stage of the postliminary realm, while Liu Shan was at the peak of the postliminary realm. Liu Shan was infuriated. He raised his right leg and wanted to kick the stable again. At this time, Ningyu spoke. "All right, there's no need for that. Here are 30 high-grade origin crystals. Give me the cores." Liu Shan patted his chest and said, "Young Master Ning, you are flattering me. Take these 3 illusionary cloud beast inner cores as a gift from me to repay you for saving my life." He had always been grateful to Ningyu for curing his illness, but he didn't know how to repay him. If it wasn't for Ningyu, he would have died long ago. How could he become an elder of the Alchemy Union? Who is he? Why is Liu Shan so respectful to him? "Young Master Ning." There's one surnamed Ning among the 4 major families in Tianqian City. Could it be his Ningyu? Ningyu. Yes, he is Ningyu. 3 days ago, he refined a first-grade medicinal pill, the Qi-gathering pill. At that time, Liu Shan personally inspected it, and its quality reached the transcendent grade. Someone who knew Ningyu cried out in surprise. Whoosh! This person's words caused an uproar in the Alchemy Union. Those who mocked Ningyu because they didn't recognize him just now didn't even dare to breathe loudly. They were afraid that Ningyu would find trouble with them. They were not the stables. Even if they were the stables, weren't they being taught a lesson by Liu Shan? Not to mention them. As long as Ningyu made trouble for them, they would not be able to walk away unscathed. Shio. With a flick of his finger, 3 high-grade origin crystals flew towards Liu Shan. "Liu Shan, I won't let you suffer a loss. Here are 3 upper-grade origin crystals to buy 3 illusionary cloud beast cores." Ningyu knew that Liu Shan definitely didn't have that many upper-grade origin crystals on him, so he didn't make things difficult for him. Although he had saved Liu Shan's life, Liu Shan had also helped him win a lot of benefits from Zhong Wenyong. They did not owe each other anything. "Hurry up and hand over the illusory cloud beast's inner core." Grabbing the high-tier origin crystal, the stable master was just about to berate Ningyu when he suddenly recalled something. He hurriedly took the jade box from the stable master and respectfully passed it over to Ningyu. After receiving the 3 illusionary cloud beast's inner cores, Ningyu said, "Liu Shan, I want to take the test for a second-grade alchemist." Through the stable master's attitude towards him just now, Ningyu knew that sometimes, those without status were destined to be looked down upon by others. Most alchemists were prideful. The only thing that could make them yield, other than having a high cultivation base, was to suppress them in alchemy. Therefore, Ningyu decided to take the test for a second-grade alchemist. With the identity of a second-grade alchemist, no matter which alchemy union he went to, he would be treated very well. Hearing this, Liu Shan's expression turned ugly. He said, "Young Master Ning, the second-grade alchemist must be personally tested by President Zhu. I don't have that ability yet. I can only take the test for a first-grade alchemist." Liu Shan was only a second-grade alchemist, and he advanced with the help of the soul-devouring pill. He was not qualified to host the test for a second-grade alchemist. In Profound Sky City, only President Zhu had the right to host the test. This was because President Zhu was a third-grade alchemist, a late-stage third-grade alchemist. "Young Master Ning, how about this? I will give you a first-grade alchemist badge first. When President Zhu returns, I will inform you immediately." Without waiting for Ningyu's reply, Liu Shan hurriedly signaled to the stable master with his eyes. The stable master understood and hurriedly took out a 1-star badge and presented it to Ningyu with both hands. Taking the badge, Ningyu casually put it in his pocket and said, Liu Shan, the soul force in your body is still not very stable. It's best if you don't refine any medicinal pills for the next month." Since Liu Shan had helped him, Ningyu did not mind giving him some advice. Also, find a way to buy a few second-grade medicinal pills, the cold fragrance pill. Take one every week. After a month, your soul force will more or less stabilize at the second grade. Finished speaking, Ningyu and Lu Wei turned around and left the alchemy union together. "Thank you, young Master Ning." Liu Shan was overjoyed and bowed deeply to Ningyu and Lu Wei's back. He had seen Ningyu's strength. Not only was his martial arts cultivation able to withstand Song Fei's full blow, but his alchemy talent was also very strong. He was probably a late-stage second-grade alchemist by now. "Ningyu, Liu Shan is a second-grade alchemist. Why is he so respectful to you?" On the way back, Lu Wei was a little puzzled. "It's nothing. My master helped him once before." Ningyu did not want to talk about Liu Shan too much. Instead, he quickened his pace and rushed towards Snow Domain Pavilion. The reason why he chose to go to Snow Domain Pavilion was because Ningyu had carefully considered it. Refining the soul condensing pill at home was not safe. It might even attract the attention of others. It would not be possible to refine it at Snow Domain Pavilion because Old Mo was a peak third-grade alchemist. No one would say anything if he refined the soul condensing pill. Not long after, Ningyu and Lu Wei arrived at Snow Domain Pavilion. Because there were only 3 illusionary cloud beast cores, Ningyu brought 3 sets of herbs into an alchemy room. Entering the room, Ningyu first took out a high-grade yuan crystal and used the spiritual art to absorb it, adjusting his mental state to its peak. The soul condensing pill was a peak third-grade elixir. The difficulty of refining it was comparable to a normal 4th-grade elixir. Although Ningyu's soul force had reached the peak 3rd grade, he did not dare to be careless. After all, he was going to refine a supreme-grade soul condensing pill. An hour later, when his mental state was at its peak, Ningyu threw the alchemy furnace into the air and grabbed the herbs for the soul condensing pill. Since Ningyu's soul force had reached the peak of the 3rd grade, there weren't any problems during the herb extraction process. Swoosh! While Ningyu was refining the ingredients, Old Mo suddenly stood up in the pill refining room next door. He released his soul force and instantly pressed down. Creak! Old Mo pushed the door open and walked out. "Old Mo, you've advanced to a 4th-grade alchemist." Seeing Old Mo and sensing his aura, Lu Wei was pleasantly surprised. "It's all thanks to you and Ningyu that I was able to advance to a 4th-grade alchemist. If it wasn't for the 2 of you helping me refine the 4th-grade detoxification pill, it would have taken me a long time to advance to a 4th-grade alchemist." Old Mo did not deny it and smiled. "Old Mo, you're too humble. You've been a peak 3rd-grade alchemist for a long time. Advancing to a 4th-grade alchemist is only a matter of time," Lu Wei said. "Right, when I was in seclusion, did you go to see Ningyu?" Old Mo asked. Chapter 47. Oh, refining the soul solidifying pill? Then what are we? Refining the soul solidifying pill. Hearing Lu Wei's words, Elder Mo replied calmly. But very quickly, his eyes widened and he exclaimed, "He's refining the 3rd-grade soul solidifying pill? Are you sure?" Elder Mo was shocked. The soul solidifying pill was extremely difficult to refine among the 3rd-grade pills. From a certain perspective, the difficulty of refining it could even be compared to the 4th-grade poison expelling pill. Even though he had advanced to a 4th-grade alchemist, it was still extremely difficult for him to refine the soul solidifying pill. Being able to successfully refine 3 out of 10 attempts was already a good result. In Elder Mo's opinion, even though the strength of Ningyu's soul force had reached the 3rd grade, it was basically impossible for him to refine the soul solidifying pill. "I'm sure." Nodding her head, Lu Wei said, "We just returned from the alchemy union. Ningyu spent 3 high-grade yuan crystals to purchase 3 illusionary cloud beast cores." Thereafter, Lu Wei recounted what happened at the alchemy union to Elder Mo. 3 high-grade yuan crystals. "That doesn't make sense. A few days ago, he used a transcendent-grade marrow cleansing pill to exchange for low-grade yuan crystals." Frowning slightly, Elder Mo was a little doubtful. Back then, Ningyu used several transcendent-grade marrow cleansing pills to exchange for more than 10 low-grade yuan crystals. It didn't make sense for Ningyu to have 3 high-grade yuan crystals in a short span of 2 days. Could it be that his master had returned? Thinking of this, Elder Mo's face lit up with joy. I believe that Ningyu will come out soon. When the time comes, we can ask him if his master has returned. Elder Mo, you mean that Ningyu's master might be in the Ning family now? Lu Wei's mouth was slightly agape as she asked. That's a possibility, but it's hard to say. Let's wait for Ningyu to come out first. Elder Hiroshi didn't make a definitive statement. It was better to wait for Ningyu to come out and clarify things. Essence solidifying pill. If Ningyu is able to refine the essence solidifying pill, then the elders of Danwu College will definitely fight for it, Elder Mo mumbled as he looked at the alchemy room. Who? Inside the alchemy room, Ningyu let out a long breath after he finished refining the ingredients for the soul condensing pill. He poured the refined medicinal liquid into a jade bottle. With a flick of his wrist, an illusory cloud beast inner core was tossed into the cauldron. Hiss. The moment the illusory cloud beast's core was thrown into the cauldron, it let out a hissing sound. Go down. Soul force frantically poured into the furnace, suppressing the illusory cloud beast's inner core at the bottom of the furnace. The illusory cloud beast's inner core was extremely difficult to refine. It could only be refined quickly at the bottom of the cauldron and turned into liquid. Because the temperature at the bottom of the cauldron was the highest, the refining speed was the fastest. If I had the heavenly fire cauldron and the demonic lotus flame, refining a mere essence solidifying pill would be a piece of cake. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu secretly made up his mind to find the heavenly fire cauldron and the demonic lotus flame as soon as possible. The heavenly fire cauldron's grade was extremely high, and it was ranked 3rd on the heaven cauldron list. The demonic lotus flame was also very special, and it was ranked 5th on the mystic flames list. According to the reincarnation pill Tao records, the reincarnation pill was an existence that surpassed grade 10. The reason why Ningyu was able to refine a semi-finished product was due to the help of the heavenly fire cauldron and the demonic lotus flame. Otherwise, with his identity as a peak grade 9 alchemist, it would be impossible for him to refine an elixir that surpassed grade 10. Catcher. Suddenly, a crisp sound could be heard. With his soul force surging, Ningyu could clearly see the illusory cloud beast's inner core breaking into 2 and gradually melting. Buzz. After another 2 hours, when the illusory cloud beast's inner core had completely melted into a medicinal liquid, Ningyu poured the liquid from the jade bottle into the cauldron bit by bit. Without the help of the demonic lotus flame, Ningyu had to burn his yuan qi to produce the flame, which naturally consumed a lot of energy. Fortunately, he had cultivated the spiritual transformation technique to stage 2. Otherwise, the speed at which Ningyu absorbed yuan qi would be far from the speed at which he consumed it. To refine the essence solidifying pill, not only did it have a strict requirement on the proportion of medicinal herbs, but it also had to be extremely precise in the control of the fire. Otherwise, it was destined to fail. In his previous life, as a peak grade 9 alchemist, Ningyu had no problem with the proportion of medicinal herbs and the control of the fire. Even though he was confident that he could refine the essence solidifying pill, Ningyu did not dare to be careless. After all, he was not going to refine an ordinary inferior grade essence solidifying pill, but a supreme grade one. A supreme grade essence solidifying pill. Ningyu's eyes were fixed on the cauldron. He did not even dare to wipe the beads of sweat on his forehead, afraid that there would be a problem with the fire. Pang! 2 hours later, Ningyu's eyes narrowed. He patted the cauldron and a round pill instantly flew out from the cauldron. Swoosh! With a flick of his wrist, he caught the pill. A superior grade essence solidifying pill? Looking at the round pill in his hand, Ningyu frowned slightly. He shook his head and placed it into the jade bottle. Taking out a superior grade yuan crystal, Ningyu sat down cross-legged and started to absorb the energy using the spiritual transformation technique. A moment later, Ningyu had completely replenished the yuan qi he had consumed. His eyes narrowed and he threw the medicinal herbs into the cauldron again. This time, Ningyu was extremely careful, afraid that he would make a mistake at any part of the process. Refining the essence solidifying pill consumed a lot of yuan qi. An ordinary third-grade alchemist would have exhausted too much yuan qi after refining 1 cauldron a day and could only rest. However, Ningyu was different. The spiritual transformation technique absorbed yuan qi at an extremely fast rate, enough for him to refine several cauldrons of essence solidifying pill in a single day. This time, I must refine a superior grade essence solidifying pill. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu focused all of his attention on refining the essence solidifying pill, completely unaffected by the outside world. Outside the cauldron, Lu Wei and Elder Hiroshi stood guard. Elder Hiroshi, it's already evening. Why isn't Ningyu out yet? It can't be that he really managed to refine the essence solidifying pill, right? Looking at the cauldron, Lu Wei asked doubtfully. It's very difficult. It's basically impossible for him to refine the essence solidifying pill. Since Ningyu managed to refine the superior grade marrow cleansing pill previously, Elder Hiroshi did not dare to be so certain this time. Instead, his brows were tightly knitted together. He was also perplexed. Regardless of whether he succeeded or not, 3 to 4 hours was enough for him to refine a cauldron of essence solidifying pill. Since Ningyu still hasn't come out, could it be that he wants to refine a second cauldron? Thinking of this, even Elder Hiroshi felt that his idea was a little unreliable. It was impossible to refine 2 cauldrons of essence solidifying pill in a short period of time. Oh right, Missy, did Ningyu tell you why he's refining the essence solidifying pill? Could it be that his father used it? Elder Hiroshi asked with a slight frown. The essence solidifying pill was extremely effective for a Xiantian realm martial artist. There was a 50% chance of breaking through to the next stage. Elder Hiroshi knew that Ningyu was only a Hutian realm martial artist. Consuming the essence solidifying pill would be a waste. If he couldn't fully refine the medicinal energy within, his body might even explode. Creak. At this moment, the door to the cauldron was pushed open, and Ningyu walked out with a face full of exhaustion. Ningyu, did you manage to refine the inferior grade essence solidifying pill? Seeing Ningyu, Lu Wei took a step forward and asked. It's not that easy to refine an inferior grade essence solidifying pill, Ningyu said with a bitter smile as he shook his head slowly. Actually, Ningyu wasn't lying. This time, he had refined 3 cauldrons of essence solidifying pills, 2 superior grade and 1 superior grade. He really didn't manage to refine an inferior grade essence solidifying pill. This time, Ningyu didn't intend to tell Elder Hiroshi and the rest that he had successfully refined the essence solidifying pill. Once the news got out, it would definitely cause a huge uproar. Ningyu, now that your soul force has reached the 3rd grade, I believe it won't be long before you can refine the essence solidifying pill. Don't be discouraged, Elder Hiroshi said. Oh right, Elder Hiroshi, how much do you know about Elixir Dragon Valley? Chapter 48. According to reliable sources, Pill Dragon Valley is the abode of an early-stage 5th grade alchemist. It is divided into Inner Valley and Outer Valley. There are no restrictions on entering the Outer Valley. Anyone can enter. As for the Inner Valley, only those below the age of 22 are allowed to enter. As the experts from Snow Pavilion had yet to arrive and Lu Wei was still young, Snow Pavilion's power was temporarily under Elder Mo's control. According to the first batch of people who went deep into Pill Dragon Valley was divided into Inner Valley and Outer Valley. There were no restrictions on entering the Outer Valley. However, there was a powerful formation at the entrance of the Inner Valley. Only those below the age of 22 were allowed to enter. Any martial artist over the age of 22 would be killed by the formation if they tried to barge in. Young Master Ning, do you want to go to Pill Dragon Valley too? Elder Mo asked. That's right. Pill Dragon Valley is the abode of a 5th grade alchemist. I want to try my luck. Ningyu replied. Ningyu, I want to enter Pill Dragon Valley too. Why don't we go together? Lu Xuan's eyes lit up. He said in a hurry, in a week, Master Mo and I will go to the Elixir Dragon Valley together. By then, you will be with us. Nobody will dare to do anything to you. Thank you for your kindness. I have something to do in a week. It's not convenient for me to enter Pill Dragon Valley with you. After pondering for a while, Ningyu felt that it was better not to go with Lu Wei. After all, he was going to fight Zhong Wenyong in a week. Zhong Wenyong came from the capital. His family was definitely not weak. If he went with Elder Mo would not leave him alone. Then, Snow Pavilion might have a conflict with the Zhong family. That's a pity. I wish you good luck. Lu Wei was a little disappointed. Zhong Wenyong did not spread the news of his fight with Ningyu. Otherwise, Lu Wei would definitely know. Song Fei also issued a gag order for what happened at Drunken Cloud Inn. If anyone dared to spread the news, he would kill them. Under Song Fei's threat, for the time being, no one dared to spread the news. However, he believed that after a while, what happened at Drunken Cloud Inn would definitely spread. By then, everyone in Tianxian City would know. If there's nothing else, I'll go back first. Since he had finished refining the soul condensing pill and it was already evening, there was no need for Ningyu to stay here any longer. He cupped his fists and took his leave. Seeing Ningyu disappear, old CEO Mo felt that he had left in a hurry. Could it be that he really refined the soul condensing pill? Frowning, a bold idea appeared in Elder Hiroshi's mind. Once this idea appeared, it lingered in his mind for a long time. Elder Mo, why don't you stay with the Ning family for a few days? I'm afraid Lin Jingtian will attack him, Lu Wei said worriedly. No, I thought it would take a few more days for Ningyu's grandfather to wake up. I didn't expect him to be so strong-willed. He has already woken up. With a touch of coldness in his eyes, Elder Mo said, He is half a step to the real martial arts realm, and his strength is no weaker than mine. With him in the Ning family, and the fact that the Ning family has already called back all the experts in the family, Lin Jingtian will not dare to act wildly. At the Ning family. Back in his room, Ningyu first instructed not to let anyone disturb him. Then, he took out a soul-condensing pill and threw it into his mouth. Crunch. The pill Ningyu took out was a high-grade soul-condensing pill. When he chewed it, it was crunchy. As soon as the soul-condensing pill entered his stomach, Ningyu hurriedly used the spiritual transformation technique to absorb the energy. The soul-condensing pill was extremely potent, and there was a 50% chance that it could help a Xiantian realm martial artist break through to the next level. Ordinary Hutian realm martial artists would not be able to refine the pill. Furthermore, the soul-condensing pill contained a huge amount of energy. If a Hutian realm martial artist dared to take it, there was a high chance that his body would explode and he would die. Ningyu was different. His soul force had reached the peak of the 3rd grade, and his spiritual transformation technique could absorb Yuan Qi at an extremely fast speed. Therefore, eating the soul-condensing pill was like eating candy. Suppress it. The energy contained in the soul-condensing pill, guided by the spiritual transformation technique, continuously entered his sea of consciousness and attached to the Qi whirlpool. As the energy continued to enter his sea of consciousness, Ningyu felt the Qi whirlpool suddenly increase in size. In an instant, he had an urge to break through to the late Hutian realm. Naturally, Ningyu would not break through to the late Hutian realm so easily. He had to suppress the Qi whirlpool in his sea of consciousness. Hiss. Feeling that it was being suppressed, the Qi whirlpool instantly surged, crashing left and right in his sea of consciousness. Humph. You'd better behave yourself. With a cold snort, Ningyu's powerful soul force instantly gathered in his sea of consciousness, forming the shape of a needle. Then, all of it shot towards the Qi whirlpool. Peng! Suddenly, a muffled sound rang out, and the Qi whirlpool split into two. Feeling the changes in the Qi whirlpool in his sea of consciousness, Ningyu let out a long breath. His eyes were slightly fiery. In his previous life, he had only been able to split the Qi whirlpool into two when he was at the early Xiantian realm. In this life, he had only been able to split the Qi whirlpool into two when he was at the middle Hutian realm. Moreover, it was not difficult at all. According to this rate of progress, by the time he reached the early Xiantian realm, it was very likely that he would be able to split the Qi whirlpool into 4. Even splitting it into 4 into 8 was not impossible. The splitting of the Qi whirlpool was very helpful to the storage of Yuan Qi in the body. When two martial artists of the same realm fought, the one with more Qi whirlpools had a higher chance of winning. It could be said that below the Yuandan realm, the more qi whirlpools there were, the stronger one's strength would be after advancing to the Yuandan realm, and the higher their future achievements would be. Crack. Taking out another core condensing pill, Ningyu activated the spirit transformation art and slowly absorbed the energy. The energy contained within a transcendent-grade core condensing pill was far stronger than that of a high-grade core condensing pill. Therefore, even though Ningyu's qi whirlpool had split into two, it was quickly filled up. Suppress. Suppress it again. Ningyu was not in a hurry to break through to the late Hutian realm. Instead, he suppressed the qi whirlpool once more, wanting to split it into four at one go. While Ningyu was working hard to split the qi whirlpool, a piece of news quietly spread in profound Sky City. Have you heard? Ningyu took the initiative to challenge Zhong Wenyong. In a week's time, they will fight to the death outside Pill Dragon Valley. Inside Scattering Flower House, a few martial artists were discussing. I know Ningyu, but who is Zhong Wenyong? Another martial artist asked doubtfully. You don't know Zhong Wenyong? The second young master of the capital's Zhong family. His strength is at the peak of the Hutian realm. The martial artist who spoke just now said, Ningyu is too arrogant. Although he killed Lin Feng and Zhong Wenyong are not on the same level. That's right, that's right. Instead of staying at home obediently, he dares to challenge Zhong Wenyong. I think he must be tired of living. The Lin family has already spread the word that as long as Ningyu dares to leave profound Sky City, they will definitely teach him a lesson. Brother Yunqiang, this Ningyu is overestimating himself, isn't he? He actually dares to challenge Zhong Wenyong. At another table, there were 3 to 4 men around the age of 20. Who does Zhong Wenyong think he is? Compared to Brother Yunqiang, he is worlds apart. That's right. Brother Yunqiang has long advanced to the early Xiantian realm. Zhong Wenyong's elder brother might be comparable to Brother Yunqiang. Zhong Wenyong. Brother Yunqiang can squash him to death with one hand. One of the young men held a folding fan in his hand. He had an elegant demeanor and a smile on his lips. He was the Brother Yunqiang that everyone was talking about. Chapter 49. Brother Yunqiang, how could Ningyu be your match? One of the advanced stage post-liminary realm warriors said flatteringly, if you want to test his strength, I can spar with him before he fights Zhong Wenyong. No need. He's just a genius from a small city. So what if he's strong? We have to look further. Yun Qiong said, this training in Elixir Dragon Valley is a rare opportunity. You have to cherish it and enter the inner yard in this year's assessment. Inner yard. Hearing the 2 words inner yard, a few people beside him revealed looks of longing. They had just entered Danwu College for a year and had been cultivating in the outer yard. They were not qualified to enter the inner yard yet. All the warriors in the inner yard were at the post-liminary realm. Even the top few in the inner yard ranking had reached the post-liminary realm, and their strength was close to the martial realm. Alright, it's not easy to enter the inner yard. You have to participate in the assessment. Waving his hand, Yun Qiong asked, I told you to keep an eye on Kongyu. Where is she now? Kongyu should be at Drunken Cloud Loft now. A peak post-liminary realm warrior said, ever since we entered Tianxian City, she would go to the Ning family every morning and stay there for an hour before leaving. Swoosh. Hearing this, Yun Qiong's face darkened. He said in a low voice, why is she going to the Ning family? Is she looking for Ning Xian? Brother Yun Qiong, I don't know. I don't dare to follow her too closely. I'm afraid she'll find out, the peak post-liminary realm warrior said carefully. Good, very good. I'm so infatuated with her. She's going to meet her lover behind my back. Clenching his fists tightly, Yun Qiong said in a cold voice, rest well today. Tomorrow morning, come with me to meet that Ning Xian. I want to see just what aspects a person who did not enter the Danwu Academy has that would attract Kongyu. Early the next morning, in Ningyu's room. Splitting the cyclone is indeed difficult. It seems that to split into 4 cyclones, one must reach the peak post-liminary realm or even the post-liminary realm. With a slight frown, Ningyu muttered, at the late stage of the post-liminary realm, there is too little yuan qi in the cyclone. It is not enough to split the cyclone into 4. After a night of practice, Ning Yu's cultivation had risen to the late stage of the Hutian realm. However, he hadn't divided the cyclone into 4. If one could divide the cyclone into 4 at the Hutian realm, then they would truly be a genius among geniuses. They could even be called a ghostly genius. Even in his previous life, Ning Yu, with his heaven-defying talent, was only able to split the cyclone into 2 when he was at the primary stage of the Xiantian realm. Forget it. We can't be too hasty on the path of cultivation. Standing up, Ning Yu stared at the remaining supreme essence condensing pill in his hand, feeling troubled. How should I give it to father? Ning Yu had refined 3 essence condensing pills, 2 supreme grade and 1 high grade. He had used 2 of them for cultivation, so he was left with 1 transcendent essence condensing pill. Although the soul solidifying pill would be of great help to him in advancing to the peak of the Hutian realm, he knew that giving the soul solidifying pill to his father, Ning Hai, would be the best choice at this stage. Ning Hai's cultivation was at the late stage of the Xiantian realm. If he took the soul condensing pill, it was highly possible that he would advance to the peak of the Xiantian realm, or even the complete Xiantian realm. At that time, Lin Jingtian would have to think twice before making a move. Sigh, if it really doesn't work, I'll just have to say that Elder Hiroshi gave it to me. With a sigh, Ning Yu stood up and walked toward the door. Bad news, brother Ning Yu, bad news. Ning Yu had just pushed the door open when he saw Ning Xin standing outside, looking highly anxious. Shina, what exactly is going on? Speak slowly, Ning Yu asked with a frown. Oh, brother Ning Yu, come with me quickly. Brother Ning Xian is going to duel with someone else. As she dragged Ning Yu towards the door, Ning Xin said, in the family's training grounds, no one can stop him. Duel with someone else in the family's training grounds? Is it with Ning Hu? Ning Yu was a little confused. Logically speaking, the younger generations of the Ning family were on good terms with each other, so they shouldn't be dueling. It's not with Ning Hu, it's with someone from Danwu College. Ning Xin explained. Why would someone from Danwu College come to the Ning family to duel with Ning Xian? This time, Ning Yu was even more confused, but very quickly, he thought of something and exclaimed, could it be that the girl that Ning Xian likes has just returned from Danwu College, and Ning Xian wants to duel with someone because of her? Ning Xin's face froze, and she nodded her head vigorously. Ning Yu's mouth twitched a few times, thinking to himself that this was really melodramatic. How could such a plot happen in the Ning family, and he had to encounter it himself? Although it was a melodramatic plot, Ning Yu did not stop, but increased his pace. He had no choice, they were already bullying him, and he could not afford to lose face. A few moments later, Ning Yu and Ning Xin arrived at the training grounds. Ning Xian, don't say I didn't give you a chance. They had just arrived at the training grounds, when Ning Yu heard a voice calling out to him. Let me see, what makes you worthy of Kong Yu's affection? A man holding a folding fan waved the fan in his hand and said with a smile, moreover, I will suppress my cultivation level to the early stages of the Hutian realm when I duel with you. It will be very fair to you. Yunqiang, whether I like Ning Xian or not has nothing to do with you. I hope you will leave quickly, a young girl beside Ning Xian said angrily, her pretty face showing signs of anger. Little you, this matter has nothing to do with you. Others have already bullied our family, we cannot let others say that our Ning family's sons are coward. Ning Xian's face was flushed red, his fists clenched so tightly that his knuckles cracked, looking like he was going to fight for his life. Yun Qiang shrugged and said, Ning Xian, I don't really want to duel with you. I just want to tell you that Kong Yu is from Danwu College, and the gap between you and Danwu College is very wide. I want you to give up on this idea as soon as possible. After that, Yun Qiang winked at the 4 men behind him. They understood and immediately stood beside Kong Yu, surrounding her. Kong Yu, I'm sorry to have wronged you. The corners of Yun Qiang's mouth curled up, and he waved at Ning Xian, saying, how about this, I allow you to find another helper from the Ning family, 2 against 1. No need, against you, I. Ning Xian's eyes were cold as he said angrily, haha, elder brother Xian, we brothers have not fought side by side for a long time. How can we miss such a good opportunity today? Before Ning Xian's voice faded, a voice was heard. Slightly startled, Yun Chong turned his head around, only to see a handsome youth slowly walking towards them. The youth had a warm smile on his face as he directly ignored Yun Chong and said to Ning Xian, "Elder brother Xian, you have also successfully advanced to the early Hutian stage. How about we join forces again today?" Ning Xian nodded his head and did not refuse. He was well aware of Yun Chong's strength. Even if he suppressed his cultivation to the early Hutian stage, he would still be no match for Yun Chong. 3 moves, in his opinion, Yun Chong only needed 3 moves to defeat him. Once Ning Yu joined the battle, he believed that the 2 brothers would have an extremely high chance of defeating Yun Chong, who had suppressed his cultivation to the early Hutian stage. "Who are you?" Yun Chong raised his eyebrows when he saw Ning Yu ignore him. Chapter 50. Ning Yu shrugged and said, "It doesn't matter who I am. What matters is that you are in the Ning family, and I am a member of the Ning family." Although Yun Chong could not see through Ning Yu's real cultivation, he was not worried at all. In his opinion, an 18th-rate family like the Ning family could not possibly have any talented warriors. Even if there were 8 or 10 of them, they would not be his match, let alone 2. Standing on the spot, Yun Chong had a confident look on his face as he said, "All of you can attack first. Because the moment I attack will be the moment of your defeat." "I see. Yun Chong, I want to know if suppressing my cultivation to the early stage of the Hutian realm still counts." Ning Yu asked. "Of course it counts," Yun Chong said proudly. "Suppressing my cultivation to the early stage of the Hutian realm is enough to deal with you. Hehe, then we will make our move." With a smile, Ning Yu's eyes turned cold and his body turned into a beam of cold light, rushing towards Yun Chong. Not good. At first, Yun Chong was calm and confident, but when he saw Ning Yu make his move, his face changed and he quickly retreated. This was because the power of Ning Yu's attack far exceeded that of an early-stage Hutian warrior. It was close to the late stage of the Hutian realm. Bang! In that instant, Ning Yu's fist and Yun Chong's fist collided, causing a muffled sound. Yun Chong retreated a few steps before he could stabilize himself. As for Ning Yu, he tapped the ground with his toes and retreated 3 steps. The difference between the two was obvious. Brother Ning Yu is good. Brother Ning Yu is really powerful. Even the warriors from Danwu College are no match for him. Danwu College is nothing. Brother Ning Yu will enter Danwu College sooner or later. I told you. With Brother Ning Yu here, nothing will happen. Around the martial arts practice field, the Ning family's children instantly burst into exclamations of surprise and discussion. Yun Chong appeared in the Ning family's martial arts arena. Due to his status, the upper echelons of the Ning family did not intervene. Instead, they chose to let the younger generation settle it among themselves. Yun Chong's cultivation was at the early stage of the Xian Tian realm. Among the younger generation of the Ning family, Ning Xian had just advanced to the early stage of the Hutian realm. How could he possibly be a match for Yun Chong? Now that Ning Yu had appeared and forced Yun Chong back with a single move, the younger generation of the Ning family felt their blood boil. Why is Yu so strong? At the entrance of the martial arts practice field, Ning He frowned slightly, feeling a little puzzled. A few days ago, he had examined Ning Yu's body and learned that Ning Yu's cultivation was only at the primary Hutian realm. He had judged that Ning Yu's cultivation was at least at the middle stage of the Hutian realm, or even at the late stage of the Hutian realm. Father, I don't know. Ning Hai was also very puzzled. Patriarch, with Yu's strength, it's only a matter of time before he enters Danwu College, Ning Tang, the great elder of the Ning family, said happily. At the mention of Danwu College, Ning His complexion changed slightly. He said in a low voice, "The competition in Danwu College is very fierce and cruel. If I had a choice, I really hope Yu would not enter." After saying that, Ning He turned around and left. Looking at Ning His back, Ning Tang said, "Patriarch, what happened at that time? Why does the Patriarch look a little lost every time the Danwu College is mentioned?" "I don't know the specifics." Ning Hai shook his head and immediately said with a gloomy face, "Don't ask about other things first. Keep an eye on the martial arts practice field. Don't let Yun Chong hurt any of the Ning family's children." The reason why Yun Qiong was allowed to behave atrociously in the martial arts practice field was because of his identity as a disciple of Danwu College. With the Ning family's current strength, they could not afford to offend a behemoth like Danwu College. Ningyu, you are Ningyu. In the martial arts practice field, Yun Qiong's complexion changed slightly when he heard the discussions around him. He said in a low voice, "Originally, I thought it was just a coincidence that you killed Lin Feng. Now it seems that it was not entirely a coincidence. Your strength is enough to compete with an ordinary warrior at the advanced stage of the Hutian realm." After the exchange just now, Yun Qiong was secretly shocked. This Ningyu's strength was really strong. He judged that Ningyu had not used his full strength. If he had used his full strength, his strength could not be underestimated. Thinking of this, Yun Qiong said, "Not bad, not bad. It seems that you are qualified to make me use my strength at the intermediate stage of the Hutian realm. Haha, didn't you just say that you would suppress your cultivation to the early stage of the Hutian realm? Why? Could it be that the people of Danwu College will also go back on their words?" Ningyu's eyes opened wide and his expression was very exaggerated. "Humph. So what if I suppress my cultivation to the early stage of the Hutian realm? Don't tell me that you are still a match for me." Yun Qiong coldly snorted and said, "I suppressed my cultivation to the intermediate stage of the Hutian realm. This is enough to show that I value you. Even if you lose to me, you can still be proud." He is too shameless. Going back on his words and making it sound so dignified. TSK, who asked him to be the genius of Danwu College? There is no other way. Hihi. Just now it was Brother Ningyu who attacked. If Brother Ning Xian also attacked, I am afraid that the genius of Danwu College would also be beaten up. It is hard to say. Later, the genius of Danwu College will definitely use the strength of the early stage of the Hutian realm. The mocking laughter that came from all around caused Yun Qiong's complexion to turn ashen. It was extremely unsightly and somewhat angry. When people were angry, they would do some crazy things. Yun Qiong coldly said, "Ningyu, I have changed my mind. I will not suppress my cultivation to the intermediate stage of the Hutian realm. I will use my full strength and challenge the entire younger generation of the Ning family." Swoosh. Yun Qiong's words made the warriors of the Ning family in the martial arts practice field quiet down. They knew that Yun Qiong's cultivation was at the early stage of the Xiantian realm. His strength was valiant. If he used his full strength, he would be able to sweep away the entire younger generation of the Ning family. What do you think? Do you dare to accept? The corners of Yun Qiong's mouth curled up slightly, revealing a complacent smile. He slowly swept his gaze across the martial arts practice field and said gloomily, "I thought you would have a lot of backbone. It seems like you are just a wax figure with a silver spear. Nice to look at but useless. You." Ning Xian's complexion was very unsightly. He took a step forward and was about to attack. However, Ningyu pressed on his shoulder and said indifferently, "Since you're in such a good mood, why don't I play with you? However, I don't need so many people to deal with you. I can do it myself." Yun Qiong was a genius of Danwu College. His cultivation was at the early stage of the Xiantian realm. He definitely had many trump cards. Ningyu naturally would not allow the younger generation of the Ning family to attack. After all, apart from Ning Xian, the younger generation of the Ning family were all at the body tempering realm. No matter how many body tempering realm warriors there were, they would not be a match for a Xiantian realm warrior. You are indeed arrogant. I want to see if you are qualified to be so arrogant, Yun Qiong said coldly as he stepped on the ground. Raging primordial qi burst out from his body in an instant, shattering the ground. A slightly thin figure suddenly rose from the ground like a ghost. He clenched his fist and a wild primordial qi swept out, bringing with it gusts of strong wind. He attacked Ningyu mercilessly. "Oh no! Brother Ningyu, retreat quickly. Brother Ningyu, retreat quickly. You are not a match for him. Damn it!" Ning Xian cursed in his heart. He held the iron blood sword in his hand and his eyes turned cold. He was about to attack. Chapter 51. Boom. Seeing the violent yuan qi wave from Yun Chong's body, Ningyu's eyes were filled with shock. A carnate stage cultivator from Danwu College is indeed powerful. In the blink of an eye, Ningyu flicked his sleeve and a wave of vigorous yuan qi suddenly rushed out of his body. At this moment, the surrounding air seemed to be greatly disturbed and was forcefully split in half. Child's play. With a cold snort, Yun Chong instantly sped up. His extremely fast figure brought with it a violent yuan qi gale. On the Ning family's side, everyone's faces darkened when they felt Yun Chong's powerful yuan qi wave. This wave of yuan qi had clearly reached the peak of the early carnate stage. Clap clap clap. Clap clap clap. In the next instant, Ningyu's fist collided with Yun Chong's, causing a series of muffled sounds. Feeling the explosive sensation from his wrist, Yun Chong's expression changed slightly. He then borrowed the force of the collision and retreated several steps. Swoosh. However, in the next instant, Yun Chong sped up again. His fist tore through the air and suddenly appeared in front of Ningyu's chest. Ningyu felt as if the air around him had been torn apart. A ghostly fist broke through the air and quickly turned into a sharp sword, fiercely chopping towards his head. Middle grade profound level magic treasure. Seeing Yun Chong take out a magic treasure flying sword, the crowd let out gasps of surprise. Their brows were filled with worry. Profound level magic treasures were extremely heaven-defying. In the hands of a carnate stage cultivator, they could display 100% of their power. Brother Ning Xian, quickly think of something. If this goes on, Brother Ning, you will be defeated sooner or later. Didn't Yun Chong say that he wants to challenge the entire younger generation of the Ning family? Let's attack together. In the training field, the Ning family's youths were filled with righteous indignation. They all wanted to go up and help. All of you calm down. Ning Xian was still aware of the situation and did not act rashly. He could sense that the fight between Ning Yu and Yun Chong had already surpassed his understanding. Even the slightest yuan qi undulations made him apprehensive. If they were to join in, they would probably be repelled before they could even touch Yun Chong. Hihi, I think you should hurry up and help brother Yun Chong. Once he brings out his flying sword, even 10 Ning you won't be a match for him. On the other side, a Peak Hu Tian warrior from Danwu College sneered. What's the point of letting them do it? Listen to me, let the older generation of the Ning family take action. Maybe Ning you will have a chance to live. It's hard to say. Big brother Yun Chong is very strong. Among the 20 students who graduated from Danwu College, he can be ranked in the top 5. I'm afraid that even the older generation of the Ning family might not be able to defeat big brother Yun Chong. A mid-grade profound rank magic treasure. The sounds of ridicule from the surroundings didn't affect Ning Yu, and it instead caused him to calm down. In the face of the sharp flying sword, he frowned slightly. Then, his feet touched the ground and his body shot forward. Netherworld Samsara Palm, the second move, lonely name. At the same time, Ningyu's hands quickly formed a seal. In the next instant, a huge palm print flew through the air and collided with Yun Chong's flying sword. Not good. Yun Chong's face changed drastically when he felt the pressure from the palm print that came from the depths of his soul. His speeding figure quickly stopped and tried to retreat. However, the palm print was extremely fast, and it came crashing down in an instant. In the next instant, an extremely clear muffled sound rang out. Then, the crowd saw a miserable figure fall from the high platform of the martial arts arena. Crack! Blood gushed out as Yun Chong's body slammed into the ground, creating a clear crack on the bluestone pavement. The cracks continued to spread, and finally, under the tremendous resistance, they vanished into thin air. At this moment, Yun Chong's breath was weak, and his eyes were dim. Rumble. At this moment, the entire martial arts arena fell silent. The 4 martial artists from Danwu College were extremely shocked when they saw the young man standing with his hands behind his back on the martial arts arena, and Yun Chong lying on the ground like a dead dog. Ning Yu, who was in the advanced Hutian realm, had actually defeated Yun Chong, who was in the early Xiantian realm. This kind of combat strength was indeed terrifying. Even if he was compared to Wu Long, who was ranked 4th among the 20 students, he wouldn't be inferior, right? Phew. Seeing that Yun Qiong had lost his combat strength, Ningyu let out a long sigh of relief. His heavy body finally relaxed, and his face was slightly pale. In order to defeat Yun Qiong with one move, although he didn't use his strongest combat strength, he still used 80% of his strength. Swoosh, 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 swoosh. Suddenly, the figures of the 4 Danwu Academy martial artists who followed Yun Qiong swept out in an instant, surrounding Ningyu in the middle. Being surrounded by the 4 Danwu College martial artists, Ningyu's relaxed nerves tensed up again. You guys want to fight too? In that case, let's fight to our heart's content today. With a fierce glint in his eyes, Ningyu took a step back, and the Yuan Qi in the 2 cyclones in his knowledge sea instantly burst out. Whoosh! Feeling the powerful Yuan Qi in Ningyu's knowledge sea, the 4 Danwu College martial artists' expressions changed, and they all took a step back. I didn't expect you to hold back. One of the Peak Hutian realm martial artists stared at Ningyu and said coldly, judging from the Yuan Qi in your body, you should have reached the Peak Hutian realm. If you want to fight, then fight. What's the point of talking? Ningyu said coldly. Cough, cough. At this moment, Yun Qiong coughed twice and got up from the ground. Staring at Ningyu, Yun Qiong's eyes were filled with malice. Good, very good. Ningyu, you've defeated me. Let's wait and see. With that, Yun Qiong turned to leave. Seeing that Yun Qiong was about to leave, Ningyu waved his hand and said calmly, the Ning family is not a place where you can come and go as you please. It's easy to enter, but difficult to leave. Yun Qiong stopped and said disdainfully, what? Can you stop me if I want to leave? Shrugging, Ningyu said, you can leave, but you have to leave something behind. You've delayed the Ning family's cultivation time, so you should at least give me some compensation, right? Good. Very good. You're the first person who has dared to extort me. Yun Qiong reached into his pocket and took out 2 elixirs. These are 2 superior-grade marrow-cleansing elixirs. Take them as compensation. Receiving the 2 superior-grade marrow-cleansing elixirs, Ningyu threw them into his mouth and chewed them under everyone's shocked gaze. Pursing his lips, Ningyu said, 2 superior-grade marrow-cleansing elixirs are not even enough to fill the gaps between my teeth. I didn't expect a martial artist from Danwu College to be so poor. Fine, I won't make things difficult for you. Get lost. Seeing Ningyu's actions, Yun Qiong was dumbfounded. Was he still human? How could he swallow 2 superior-grade marrow-cleansing elixirs so easily? After a short moment of shock, Yun Qiong's face was filled with anger. Ningyu was slapping his face and mocking him. With his character, how could he tolerate it? Chapter 52. Sigh. Glancing at the flying sword in Yun Qiong's hand, Ningyu sighed, the Emerald Cloud Sword is your personal sword. It seems like you like it a lot. How can I take away what you love? Despite his words, Ningyu reached out his hand to take the flying sword from Yun Qiong's hand. The corner of Yun Qiong's mouth twitched as he snorted and threw the Emerald Cloud Sword at Ningyu. Pa. His right hand grasped the air and the Emerald Cloud Sword was firmly grasped in his hand. It is indeed a mid-grade mystic class flying sword. It is barely enough as compensation. Ningyu sent his soul power into the flying sword to inspect it. He then waved his hand, you may leave. Ningyu, have you lost your mind? Did you not understand what I meant? Yun Qiong was enraged, as long as you can subdue it, it will be yours. Now you still, how do you know I haven't subdued it? Before Yun Qiong could finish his sentence, Ningyu interrupted him and waved the Emerald Cloud Sword, you can try and see if it still listens to you. Yun Qiong wanted to recall the Emerald Cloud Sword. Whoosh. However, in the next moment, his expression changed and his eyes were filled with disbelief. My Emerald Cloud Sword, you erased the soul imprint I left in it. How did you do it? It was no wonder that Yun Qiong was shocked. Every mystic class and above would have a soul imprint on it. In order to completely obtain the treasure, the soul imprint must be erased. Otherwise, the treasure would not be able to unleash its full potential. Now that he had lost contact with the Emerald Cloud Sword, it meant that the soul imprint on the sword had been erased by Ningyu. I forgot to tell you, other than being a martial artist, I am also an alchemist. With a flick of his wrist, a 1-star badge appeared in Ningyu's hand. Looking at the badge in Ningyu's hand, Yun Chong's face turned pale. Possessing a 1-star badge meant that Ningyu was a first-grade alchemist. Impossible. My soul imprint was placed into the azure cloud sword by my master. With your status as a first-grade alchemist, it is impossible for you to erase it. Demonic technique. You must have used a demonic technique. Yun Changqiang shouted, not daring to believe the reality in front of him. Frowning slightly, Ningyu was a little unhappy. He said coldly, "You want to go back on your words." Boom. As he spoke, the essence in Ningyu's 2 qi whirlpools surged out in a frenzy, suppressing Yun Chong. To deal with this kind of person, one had to use force and beat him until he was convinced. Poochie. Yun Chong vomited a mouthful of blood and knelt down on one knee. His face was deathly pale. Ningyu didn't just use his yuan qi to suppress it, he also quietly mixed his soul force with his yuan qi, forming a double suppression of yuan qi and soul force. As Yun Chong had already been struck by the Netherworld Samsara Palm's second move, Lonely Name, his soul was severely injured. Coupled with the pressure of yuan qi and soul, he naturally could not withstand it. "I will give you one last chance." Scram. Ningyu took a step forward and shouted. "Big brother Yun Chong, where there's life, there's hope," one of the peak post-liminary realm martialists said. "All right. Let's go. The mountains will not change, and the rivers will continue to flow. Ningyu, this enmity is settled. Just wait and see." Yun Chong's heart bled after losing the azure cloud sword. However, he was helpless and could only leave like a stray dog. He was afraid that if he stayed any longer, Ningyu might do something out of line. Swoosh. Seeing Yun Chong leave like a stray dog, the martial arts practice ground quietened down. Kong Yu was extremely shocked. No one in the martial arts practice ground understood Yun Chong's strength better than her. He was ranked in the top 1,000 of Danwu College's outer court. Defeating Yun Chong with one move, doesn't this mean that Ningyu's strength is enough to rank in the top 1,000 of the outer court, or even the top 800? As she thought of this, the way Kong Yu looked at Ningyu changed. Any martialist who entered the top 1,000 of the outer court would have a high chance of entering the inner court. Big brother Ningyu is great. Big brother Ningyu is amazing. Not only is he talented in alchemy, but his martial cultivation is also very strong. Hihi, when that genius from Danwu College left just now, his face was as ugly as a pig's liver. After a while, the huge martial arts practice ground finally erupted. The young martialists of the Ning family all looked at Ningyu with undisguised admiration. "Big brother Ning Xian, I have to leave first. Tell everyone that it's best not to leave the Ning family during this time. I'm afraid Yun Chong will attack them." Although Yun Chong did not dare to attack the Ning family openly, he still had to guard against such a possibility. Even a cornered dog would jump over a wall, let alone a living person. After thinking for a while, Ningyu continued, "Also, remember not to speak of what happened today. If anyone dares to speak of it, don't blame me for not showing mercy." After speaking, Ningyu turned around and walked out of the martial arts practice ground. With Ningyu's powerful soul perception, he had long known that Ning Hai and Ning Tang were outside the martial arts practice ground. He had defeated Yun Chong in one move and obtained the middle-grade profound rank flying sword. This matter had to be explained. Coincidentally, he could use this opportunity to give the transcendent grade condensing pill to his father. As for the aftermath of the martial arts practice ground, Ningyu believed that with Ning Xian's ability, he would definitely be able to handle it perfectly. There was no need for him to worry too much. "Father." Outside the martial arts practice ground, Ningyu's expression was calm. "Millimeter, not bad. Follow me." Nodding his head, Ning Hai did not ask any more questions and turned to leave. He followed Ning Hai through the backyard and stopped in front of a hidden stone door. There were 2 grooves on the stone door. Without hesitation, Ning Hai placed his palm on the grooves and exerted a little force. Traces of blood flowed from his fingers into the grooves. Creak. As the blood continuously flowed in, a creaking sound was heard a moment later as the thick and heavy stone door slowly opened. Swish. Just as he entered the stone door, Ningyu felt a cold and gloomy aura. This cold and gloomy aura caused him to involuntarily shrink his neck. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu looked ahead, only to see a long and narrow passage in front of him that was somewhat pitch black. After walking for approximately 15 minutes, they reached the end of the passage. The front suddenly became wide and spacious. 2 rows of stone rooms were neatly arranged on both sides, with names written on the stone doors of the stone rooms. Ning Batian, Ning Dao, Ning Ming. Mu Yunshan. Ningyu's gaze shifted, finally stopping in front of the stone door where Mu Yunshan was. Mother. Staring at the 3 large words on the stone door, Ningyu's mind exploded, causing him to be somewhat absent-minded. Although the owner of this body was not him, the faint feeling that originated from the depths of his heart still made him feel very uncomfortable. Ever since he could remember, Ningyu had never seen his mother, thus his memory of Mu Yunshan's face was extremely vague. In the past, Ningyu had also asked about it, but Ning Hai had always found an excuse to avoid it. This time, for some unknown reason, Ning Hai had actually taken the initiative to bring him here. Chapter 53. In the stone room, a coffin lay quietly in the center. There was nothing else around it. Taking a deep breath, Ning Hai stepped forward and pressed a round button on the coffin. Ka. Shortly after, the coffin slowly opened. Ning Hai took out a golden box from the coffin. The box was engraved with unknown patterns. There were locks on all 6 sides of the box, making it look extremely mysterious. Seeing the golden box, Ningyu's heart skipped a beat. He suppressed the restlessness in his heart and asked curiously, "What is this?" "This is what your mother left for you." Staring at the golden box, Ning Hai revealed a sad and lonely expression. "Mother?" Ningyu said. "Yes." Ning Hai nodded and said, "Now it's time to give it to you." Having said that, Ning Hai took out 6 keys and opened the golden box. Hua. As soon as the box was opened, a golden light shot out from inside, followed by a majestic wave of essence chi. This wave of essence chi caused Ningyu's heart to tremble a little. He felt a sense of fear. What is this thing? Taking the box, Ningyu looked inside. Supreme 9 Purities Sword Technique. Looking at the words on the slightly yellowed book in the box, Ningyu's heart could not help but tremble again. The Supreme 9 Purities Sword Technique was the treasure of the Supreme 9 Purities Temple. Why was it here? Could it be that Mu Yunshan was someone from the Supreme 9 Purities Temple? Right, the Palace Lord of the 9 Purities Temple in space has the surname Mu. Could Mu Yunshan be her daughter? Frowning slightly, Ningyu had some understanding of the Supreme 9 Purities Temple in his previous life. He knew that the Palace Lord was an extraordinary person, and his cultivation had already reached perfection. "This is the cultivation technique your mother left for you. She said that when your cultivation reaches the Hutian stage, she can give it to you," Ning Hai said. "Father, is mother a member of the Supreme 9 Purities Temple?" Ningyu asked calmly. Waving his hand, Ning Hai said, "Don't ask about your mother's identity for now. Once you have cultivated this part of the Supreme 9 Purities Sword Technique to the extreme, you will naturally know everything about your mother. Train here for the next few days. You can only leave when you've mastered the first form of the 9 Heavens Sword Technique." Then, Ning Hai turned around and left the stone room. As for Ningyu, he sat cross-legged and slowly activated the 9 Clarity Supreme Sword Technique. There are only 6 styles. Ningyu frowned as he flipped open the sword formula. Through the memories of his previous lifetime, he knew that the Supreme 9 Clarity Sword Technique had a total of 12 moves, and when cultivated to the limit, it was comparable to a top king rank martial technique. Right now, there were only 6 moves, and their power was equivalent to an earth rank upper grade martial technique. It just so happens that I won a mystic rank middle grade flying sword from Yunqiang. I can use it to cultivate the Supreme 9 Clarity Supreme Sword Technique. With a flick of his wrist, the mystic rank middle grade flying sword, the green cloud sword, flew out and hovered above Ningyu's head. He separated a bit of his soul force and entered the green cloud sword, leaving a soul mark inside. Ningyu did not cultivate the sword technique at the first possible moment. Instead, He flipped open the book and memorized the mental cultivation method and the accompanying diagrams of the 6 moves. Soon after, he flicked his finger and a scarlet flame gushed out, burning the book into nothingness. The first 6 moves of the Supreme 9 Clarity Supreme Sword technique was an excerpt, not the original, so there was no need to keep it. In the next moment, Ningyu operated his Yuan Qi according to the mental cultivation method of the first move, entrusted it to the green cloud sword, and began to cultivate the sword technique. Swoosh! The green cloud sword flew back and forth in the stone room at an extremely fast speed. The Supreme 9 Clarity Supreme Sword technique really lives up to its name. It is indeed a little difficult to cultivate. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu's drive surged. I can even successfully cultivate a cultivation method like the spirit transformation method. I don't believe that a mere sword technique can stump me. Rustle. The green cloud sword flew left and right in the stone room, its speed doubled. Get in. With a low shout, Ningyu gathered his Yuan Qi on the green cloud sword and pointed it forward. Bang! As the green cloud sword swept out, the surrounding air was compressed and forcefully split into 2. A low muffled sound rang out. Immediately, Ningyu's eyes widened, and his face was filled with disbelief. The green cloud sword can't even withstand this pressure. Looking at the cracked body of the green cloud sword, Ningyu was dumbfounded. Forget it, I'll just go buy a flying sword. I don't have any suitable weapons anyway. Transcendent grade condensing essence pill, I can only give it to father next time. Shaking his head, Ningyu stood up and was about to leave the stone room. However, he seemed to have thought of something and did not leave immediately. Instead, he stayed for another day. Ninghai had said that he would leave when he mastered the first form of the sword technique. If he left so early, wouldn't he be a monster among monsters? A day later, after tidying up his clothes, Ningyu left the stone room. Could he have mastered the first form of the sword technique? On the other side of the stone room, Ninghai frowned in confusion. Mu Yunshan once said that even the peerless geniuses of the Supreme 9 Purities Temple would need a week to master the first form. When this time is over, I must have a good talk with you. I can't bite off more than I can chew. Shaking his head, Ninghai turned around and left. As for Ningyu, he turned left and right in Tianqian City and walked into a shop named Supreme Pavilion. This shop was located in the golden area of Tianqian City. Not only did it sell elixirs and pill furnaces, but it also sold some high-grade magical weapons. Suddenly, Ningyu's heart skipped a beat and he turned his head around. Behind him, a short and skinny old man said with a smile, "Young master, may I know what you're looking for?" Ningyu was slightly surprised. If it wasn't for his powerful soul perception, he would not have noticed the old man. From this, it could be seen that the old man was definitely an expert. Seeing Ningyu's reaction, the old man was even more shocked. He had used a technique to hide his aura, but Ningyu still discovered him. Not simple. The corner of the old man's mouth rose as he introduced himself, "Nai Hua, the shopkeeper of this shop." "So it's shopkeeper Nai. My surname is Ning." Ningyu nodded and said, "I want to buy a suitable weapon." Nai Hua said, "Could it be that young Master Ning wants to buy a flying sword?" Raising his brows, Ningyu looked up to the old man again and said, "That's right. I do want to buy a flying sword." Nai Hua smiled and said, "The magical weapons and flying swords are all on the 2nd floor. If young Master Ning is interested, I'll bring you there to take a look." Following that, Ningyu followed Nai Hua to the 2nd floor. The 2nd floor of the Supreme Pavilion was slightly more spacious and there were various display booths arranged in an orderly manner. The display booths were divided into 4 areas: Heaven, Earth, Mysterious, and Yellow, which corresponded to the 4 grades of magical weapons. Looking at the display booths of Earth and Heaven, Ningyu frowned and asked, "Elder Nai, does the Supreme Pavilion also have Earth and Heaven magical weapons for sale?" Earth magical weapons were extremely powerful, but they were also very expensive. An ordinary Xiantian realm martial artist would not be able to unleash their full power. As for Heaven magical weapons, the price was even more shocking. Those who owned them were all aristocratic families. Chapter 54. Young Master Ning, The premium pavilion naturally has Earth-grade and Heaven-grade magic treasures for sale. Smiling, Naihua said, if you need, I can transfer them from the headquarters. Pointing at the Earth-grade and Heaven-grade booths, Ningyu said, aren't the magic treasures in those two booths Earth-grade and Heaven-grade? Looking at where Ningyu was pointing, Naihua said with a smile, those two booths do indeed have Earth-grade and Heaven-grade magic treasures, but they are all broken and can't display even 10% of their power. Ningyu didn't stay too long at the Yellow-grade booths and headed for the Mystic, Earth-grade, and Heaven-grade booths. The Emerald Cloud Sword was a Mystic mid-grade flying sword and couldn't even withstand the powerful pressure of the Supreme 9 Purities sword art, let alone an ordinary Yellow-grade flying sword. After staying at the Mystic booth for a while, Ningyu shook his head and headed for the Earth-grade booths again. Flash Rune Sword. He stopped in front of an Earth-grade booth. Inside the booth was a broken flying sword with only the blade and no hilt. The body of the sword was extremely plain, and there were even spots of rust on it. Naihua said, young Master Ning has a good eye. This is the Flash Rune Sword. If it wasn't damaged, it would at least be an Earth-grade mid-grade flying sword. What a pity. Such a good flying sword, but the hilt is broken and its power has dropped a lot. If young Master Ning needs it, I can sell it to you at a lower price. How much? Ningyu asked without batting an eyelid. Seeing that Ningyu was a little tempted, Naihua said, 100 high-grade essence crystals. That's too expensive. Naihua thought that Ningyu would haggle, but who would have thought that Ningyu would move and head for the Heaven-grade booth? Naihua had no choice but to follow. Soul-breaking sword. On the Heaven-grade booth, a blue sword lay quietly inside. From the outside, this soul-breaking sword was in perfect condition. The blade was crystal clear, without a trace of dust or rust. Ningyu's soul moved and quietly separated a wisp of soul force to explore the flying sword. When the soul force entered the flying sword, it was like a stone sinking into the ocean, there was not the slightest ripple. It can actually devour soul power. Ningyu was extremely shocked. Up until now, this absolute soul sword was the second magic treasure that he had encountered that could devour soul power. The first was the devouring jade bangle he won from Zhong Wenyong. Shopkeeper Nai, how much is this soul-breaking sword? Ningyu asked. Naihua revealed a troubled expression when he heard this, and he said, young Master Ning, this broken soul sword might be slightly more expensive. Ningyu frowned and asked, how much? I can't determine the grade of this flying sword, but I can't carve a soul imprint into it. Naihua said, if you want it, 500 high-grade origin crystals. It would be strange if you could imprint your soul imprint inside, because it is a devouring flying sword. Ningyu secretly criticized in his heart, but he was also a little tempted. The devouring flying sword's power was needless to say. With a devouring flying sword, one could contend with a martial artist with a higher soul force. In other words, between two true martial realm martial artists, one had a second-grade soul force and the other had a third-grade soul force. Then, a second-grade soul force martial artist with a devouring flying sword could contend with a third-grade soul force martial artist. The price of an earth-grade devouring flying sword was comparable to a sky-grade flying sword. Ordinary martial artists only knew that this flying sword could not be imprinted with a soul imprint, and they could not differentiate between a devouring flying sword and a normal flying sword. Little did they know that in order to imprint a soul imprint on a devouring flying sword, one had to refine a peak 4th-grade elixir, the soul imprint elixir. This flying sword should be a sky-grade flying sword, but the array inside has not been activated. If I can obtain it, not only will I be able to smoothly cultivate the Supreme 9 Purities sword art, I will also have nothing to fear even if I encounter martial artists who specialize in soul force. Forcefully suppressing the passion in his eyes, Ningyu made up his mind that he must find a way to obtain this absolute soul sword. Shopkeeper Nai, this flying sword is not a sky-grade artifact at all. Furthermore, one cannot imprint a soul imprint on it, so it's not worth 500 high-grade essence crystals. Ningyu bargained, how about this, 200 high-grade essence crystals, I'll buy it. Naihua gritted his teeth and said, young Master Ning, 300 high-grade essence crystals, this is the minimum. Young Master Ning, we've also appraised this flying sword. Although it's not a sky-grade artifact, Its hardness is comparable to an ordinary Earth-grade artifact. 300 high-grade essence crystals is a fair price. Seeing Ning Yu shake his head, Naihua hurriedly said, an undamaged low-grade Earth-grade artifact also costs 10,000 high-grade essence crystals. 300 high-grade essence crystals to buy the absolute soul sword. You're not losing out, you're even making a profit. After a slight pause, Ning Yu said, 300 high-grade essence crystals is fine. When Ning Yu and Naihua entered the second floor, a group of 3 people entered the supreme grade pavilion. 2 of the young men were the Zhao family's genius, Zhao Xian, and the Wang's genius, Wang Dao. The other man was the Danwu College's genius, Wu Long. Wang Dao smiled, young Master Long, this is the supreme grade pavilion. You can definitely buy the elixirs you need here. After Wu Long entered Tianxian City, the Zhao family and the Wangs contacted him immediately and tried everything to rope him in. To be able to rope in a Danwu College's genius, it was worth it no matter how much they spent. Wu Long said calmly, the Supreme Grade Pavilion's headquarters is in the capital. Although this is just a branch, there should be third-grade essence condensing pills here. Wu Long also had the capital to be arrogant. In the outer yard of Danwu College, he was ranked 895 and had a cultivation base of early-stage carnate realm. Young Master Long, let's go to the 3rd floor. They sell some elixirs there. Zhao Xian said. Third. At this moment, Ning Yu walked down from the 2nd floor. He was surprised to see Zhao Xian and Wang Dao not far away from him. But soon, Ning Yu's face darkened. Wang Dao and Zhao Xian were involved in the poisonous blood powder that he was poisoned with. Lin Feng had been killed and the 2 of them were still at large. Since I've bumped into you, I'll collect some interest first. Ning Yu's lips curled up and he thought to himself. Seeing Ning Yu coming down from the 2nd floor, Zhao Xian and Wang Dao looked at each other and could not help but take a few steps back. They had not forgotten how ruthless Ning Yu was when he killed Lin Feng in the Tianxian Square. Ning Yu, why are you here? Zhao Xian and Wang Dao's tone hardened when they remembered that their cultivation had reached the peak of the Hutian intermediate stage and there was a genius from Danwu College standing beside them. The Supreme Grade Pavilion is not a place that anyone can come to. Ning Yu cupped his fists and said, if vermin like you can come here, why can't I? Zhao Xian was enraged. Who are you calling vermin? Ning Yu, don't think that you can do whatever you want just because you killed Lin Feng. Today, I'll let you know that there's always someone better than you. Zhao Xian and Wang Dao clenched their fists tightly, surrounding Ning Yu in the middle. We could trample you to death in the past, and we can do it again now. After Lin Feng died in battle, the Zhao family and the Wangs spent a lot of money to buy elixirs and magical weapons to enhance Zhao Xian and Wang Dao's strength. Now, their cultivation had reached the peak of the Hutian intermediate stage. Their combined strength was comparable to Lin Feng in the past. Chapter 55. Peak of the intermediate Hutian stage. Not bad, not bad. Surrounded by Zhao Xian and Wang Dao, Ning Yu showed no fear. Instead, he smiled and said, I already know everything that happened in Flower Scattering House. Today is the perfect opportunity to settle the score. What Flower Scattering House? Hugh is babbling nonsense here. Zhao Xian and Wang Dao's eyes flashed fiercely as they attacked together. 2 fists flew towards Ning Yu's head. Swish, swish. As he watched Zhao Xian and Wang Dao approach, Ning Yu's eyes narrowed. His body flashed strangely as 2 palms filled with violent yuan energy suddenly thrust forward. Kai kai. Wherever the fist passed, even the air would emit a low explosive sound. Netherworld Samsara Palm, first form, dust severing. Crack, crack crack crack. As Ning Yu's voice fell, an extremely overbearing power erupted in an instant, wreaking havoc on Zhao Xian and Wang Dao's fists. Poochie. The pain from their fists caused Zhao Xian and Wang Dao to spit out a mouthful of blood. Their bodies swayed in the wind before they flew backwards with a loud bang and landed heavily on the ground. Little bastard, why are you so powerful? With an angry roar, Zhao Xian and Wang Dao stood up while enduring the pain from their fists. Their faces were extremely dark. What a cheap mouth. Didn't your parents teach you to be more respectful? With a vicious glint in his eyes, Ningyu stomped his right foot on the ground and his body shot forward. Yuan energy gathered in his palms as he slashed at Zhao Xian and Wang Dao's mind. Although he couldn't kill the two of them today, he could still teach them a lesson and destroy their sea of consciousness. When it is possible to forgive, forgive and forget. Just as Ningyu's palms were about to land on Zhao Xian and Wang Dao, a calm voice rang out beside his ear. Soon after, a fist flew through the air and collided with his palms. Bang! After the blow, Ningyu took several steps back. Peak early Xiantian stage. Looking at Wu Long standing in front of him, Ningyu's expression changed slightly, but that was all. That was because the peak of the initial Xiantian realm wasn't enough to make him worry. Why don't you give me some face today and let the two of them go? Wu Long said indifferently with a carefree look on his face. Who are you? Ningyu did not continue to attack and asked. Humph. Young Master Long is a genius from Danwu College, and he's very powerful. You'll have to bear the consequences if you offend him. Before Wu Long could speak, Zhao Xian rushed to say, I advise you to be obedient. Otherwise, even the Ning family will be implicated. The geniuses of Danwu Academy, Ningyu frowned as he slowly said, I'm afraid that I can't do it today. I have a grudge with the two of them, and I have to settle it today. Whoosh. Wu Long's face was a little ugly. He didn't expect that after Ningyu knew his identity, he still didn't give him face. What if I insist on protecting the two of them today? Suppressing the rage in his heart, Wu Long asked. You're their bodyguard? Personal bodyguard? Ningyu was a little surprised. Logically speaking, a genius from Danwu College shouldn't be so protective of Zhao Xian and Zhao Xian. You're courting death. Wu Long felt that he was being humiliated and immediately attacked. His fist carried a powerful gust of wind as it blasted toward Ningyu. Hehe, the two of you, this is the premium pavilion. Isn't it a little inexcusable for you to attack here? Suddenly, Naihua walked down from the second floor with a smile on his face. Seeing Naihua come out, Wu Long's fist that had just blasted out instantly stopped. He was somewhat shocked. This was because he couldn't see through Naihua's strength. Old fart, of all times to come out, you just had to come out at this time. A malicious look flashed across Zhao Xian's face. In his view, Naihua was completely siding with Ningyu. Otherwise, why didn't Naihua come out to stop them when they were fighting? Now that Wu Long had just made a move, Naihua had come out to stop him. This made them very unhappy. The two of you, if there's anything, sit down and talk about it slowly. It's better to make enemies than to resolve them. Naihua quietly smiled at Ningyu and said, Why don't you give me some face today and stop? In fact, Naihua had already been watching from the second floor. When Ningyu fought with Zhao Xian and Zhao Xian, he naturally wouldn't come out to stop them because he knew that Ningyu's strength far exceeded the two of them. After all, Ningyu was a distinguished guest of the premium pavilion. Spending 300 high-grade essence crystals, he had to be partial. Wu Long's cultivation was at the early stage of the Xiantian realm. In Naihua's view, Ningyu was no match for him at all. Him coming out to stop them not only protected the dignity of the premium pavilion, but also sold Ningyu a favor. It was just right. I don't care. Ningyu knew what Naihua was thinking. He shrugged and didn't point it out. Wu Long's face was a little gloomy. The premium pavilion was powerful, and he couldn't afford to offend them. But he had already been infuriated by Ningyu. No matter what, he had to teach Ningyu a lesson today. Otherwise, it would be difficult to resolve the hatred in his heart. Wu Long rolled his eyes and said to Ningyu, I want to challenge you to a life-and-death battle. Hua. Wu Long's words immediately caused a big wave in the premium pavilion. The genius of Danwu College wants to challenge Ningyu? I didn't hear wrong, did I? You didn't hear wrong. There's a rumor that Ningyu has already set a life-and-death battle with Zhong Wenyong. How did he offend the genius of Danwu College now? Even if he can defeat Zhong Wenyong, I don't think he has the ability to have a life-and-death battle with the genius from Danwu College, right? Your news is outdated. Zhong Wenyong advanced to the Xiantian realm as early as yesterday, and he advanced to the peak of the early stage of the Xiantian realm in one fell swoop. I heard that an expert from the Zhong family personally came to the capital to help Zhong Wenyong advance to the middle stage of the Xiantian realm in 1 week. Does that mean that Zhong Wenyong's strength far exceeds Wu Long's? The surrounding discussions made Wu Long's face even more gloomy. He hadn't expected that Ning Yu would be so arrogant. Although he was ranked around 800 in the outer court of Danwu College, he didn't dare to offend Zhong Wenyong. After all, Zhong Wenyong's brother was ranked in the top 50 in the outer court of Danwu College. Sigh, I've realized that recently, so many people like to have life and death battles. Ning Yu swayed his wrist and gently stroked the Qingyun sword. Qingyun sword. Seeing the flying sword in Ning Yu's hand, Wu Long had a look of sudden realization and said, "No wonder you dare to be so arrogant. It turns out that you have Yunxiang's support. He even lent you the Qingyun sword." "I'm arrogant." Pointing at himself, Ning Yu was a little speechless. He hadn't agreed to the life and death battle yet, so how did it become arrogant? This Wu Long is too arrogant. I just didn't give him face, and it became arrogant. It's simply unreasonable. Although Ning Yu wasn't afraid of Wu Long, there was no need for him to have a life and death battle with him. He was pressed for time and didn't have time to waste here. There were only 5 days left until the date of the duel with Zhong Wenyong. He wanted to use these 5 days to improve his cultivation and strive to promote his strength to the peak of the late stage of the Hutian realm. "I'm not interested in a life and death battle with you." Shaking his head, Ning Yu walked straight out of the best grade pavilion. Looking at Ning Yu's departing figure, Wu Long clenched his fists. Xiu. Chapter 56. Watch out. In the best grade pavilion, Nai Hua did not expect Wu Long to suddenly attack. Coupled with Wu Long's extremely fast speed, it was too late for him to stop him, so he could only warn him. "Ning Yu, to think you would have such a day." Zhao Xian's eyes were extremely vicious, as if he could see Ning Yu's miserable state when he was hit. A sinister look appeared on his face. Wu Long will definitely be able to cripple him. Wang Dao was also very excited. As long as Wu Long crippled Ning Yu, they would be able to bully him unscrupulously. "You're courting death." Although Wu Long's attack was extremely fast, and it was a sneak attack, Ning Yu's super strong soul perception was already aware of it the moment he made his move, so he did not panic in the slightest. With a ruthless expression, the Yuan Qi in the 2 cyclones surged wildly and all of it flowed into the palm of his right hand. With a turn of his body, he punched back at Wu Long's fist. Catcher. Ning Yu used almost all of his strength in this palm, without the slightest bit of holding back. The Yuan Qi in the 2 cyclones wreaked havoc on Wu Long's fist. The huge force of the Yuan Qi caused Wu Long's expression to change. His body was pushed back several feet, and he fell into the best grade pavilion. Swish. At this moment, the scene instantly quieted down. Everyone's eyes were wide open as they looked at Wu Long, who had fallen to the ground. The shock was plain for all to see. It must be known that Wu Long's cultivation was at the early Xiantian stage, while Ning Yu was only at the Hutian stage. There was a huge difference in strength between the two. How could Ning Yu defeat Wu Long in one move? Rumble. After a moment, the entire best grade pavilion was in an uproar. Everyone was talking about it. Did I see that right? Ning Yu defeated the genius from Danwu College in one move? That's right. Ning Yu's palm just now was extremely fast. I only saw a shadow flash by, and then Wu Long was defeated. He defeated Wu Long in one move. How strong is Ning Yu? So, he's actually this powerful. In the supreme grade pavilion, Nai Hua's eyes narrowed, and he was extremely shocked. Originally, he was worried that Ning Yu would be injured, but now it seemed that his worries were completely unnecessary. Being able to defeat the early Xiantian realm Wu Long in one move, Ning Yu's strength was probably close to the middle Xiantian realm. This is impossible. Wang Dao and Zhao Xian's jaws dropped as if they had swallowed an egg. The sudden change caught them off guard. Originally, they thought that Ning Yu would be defeated. Who would have thought that in the end, it was Wu Long, the genius of Danwu College, who was defeated? Ahem. Wu Long coughed twice and stood up with difficulty. He stared fiercely at Ningyu and said in a cold voice, "What kind of martial skill was that? Why was it so powerful?" Wu Long didn't expect that his sneak attack with 80% of his strength would be defeated by Ningyu. According to his judgment, even if he attacked with all his strength, he might not be able to block Ningyu's move just now. "It seems that there's no need to tell you, right?" Ningyu shrugged and said lightly, "Ningyu, you're very strong. I admit that I underestimated you, but don't be complacent. Next time, you won't be so lucky to defeat me," Wu Long said. "If I can defeat you once, I can naturally defeat you twice and thrice." In response to Wu Long's threat, Ningyu said non-committally. After giving Ningyu a fierce look, Wu Long turned and left. Looking at Wu Long's back, Ningyu raised his eyebrows and thought to himself that he was indeed worthy of being a genius of Danwu College. He could adapt to circumstances. Failure was not terrible. What was terrible was not being able to recognize one's current situation. A genius like Wu Long was destined to have much higher achievements than Yun Qiong in the future. "You too, I don't think we've settled our debts yet." Seeing that Zhao Xian and Wang Dao were about to leave silently, Ningyu's body flashed and blocked their way, saying, "Now is the time to settle the matter of Scattered Flower House. Young Master Ning, eldest young Master Ning, the matter of Scattered Flower House has nothing to do with us." Zhao Xian instantly collapsed to the ground and even stuttered when he spoke. Ningyu could defeat Wu Long in one move. Wasn't it just a matter of half a move to kill them? Yes, it was all Lin Feng's orders. How would we dare to do anything to you? Wang Dao hurriedly added, the poisoned blood powder was also purchased by Lin Feng. At that time, his cultivation was far higher than ours. We had no choice but to follow him. Wang Dao was stalling for time. Just now, he had already used a secret technique to communicate with the experts of his clan. In his opinion, as long as he could stall for time until the experts of his clan arrived, Ningyu would definitely not be able to gain any advantage. What he needed to do now was to stall for time. "Forget it, I won't make things difficult for you." How could Ningyu not know what Wang Dao and Zhao Xian were thinking? He rolled his eyes and walked in front of them, patting their shoulders. "You can leave now." "You're letting us leave just like that?" Wang Dao was somewhat dumbfounded and asked in confusion. "I don't want to say the same thing twice. If you don't want to die, leave now," Ningyu said in a low voice with a cold expression. Hearing this, Wang Dao and Zhao Xian hurriedly ran out of the premium-grade pavilion. Outside the premium-grade pavilion, Zhao Xian's face was cold as he said viciously, "Brother Zhao, Ningyu is so powerful, we must inform the experts of our clan immediately." Wang Dao also displayed his ruthless side. "I have just used a secret technique to communicate with the experts of my clan. Now, let's go to Scattered Flower House and discuss how to get rid of Ningyu." "Indeed, we must get rid of him." Nodding his head, Zhao Xian said, "I will also inform the experts of today's events. Let's go." Exchanging glances, Wang Dao and Zhao Xian left immediately. At the same time, in the premium-grade pavilion, Nai Hua said, "Young Master Ning, I didn't expect you to be so powerful." Waving his hand, Ningyu said, "Compared to shopkeeper Nai, I am not even a little bit inferior." Nai Hua said, "Young Master Ning is too humble. You are not even 20 yet, right? This talent is already very high. I wonder if you are interested in becoming a guest of the premium-grade pavilion?" Seeing the potential Ningyu displayed, Nai Hua wanted to recruit him. "Shopkeeper Nai, how can I become a guest of the premium-grade pavilion?" After pondering for a while, Ningyu shook his head and refused. Now that he had many secrets on him, and with the addition of the Supreme 9 Purities sword art, becoming a guest of the premium-grade pavilion was somewhat inconvenient. "That's a pity." Nai Hua did not urge him to stay, but said, "Why don't you leave from the back door? Zhao Xian and Wang Dao suffered a loss today, they will definitely not let this go." "If that's the case, thank you, shopkeeper Nai." After thinking for a while, Ningyu did not refuse this time. Although his strength was strong enough to defeat an early innate expert, the Zhao family and the Wangs were able to become one of the 4 major families in Tianxian City. Once the 2 families found out about the great potential he had displayed today, they would definitely surround and kill him at all costs. After leaving the premium-grade pavilion from the back door, Ningyu dressed up and walked towards the Snow Domain Pavilion. Chapter 57. Recently, the news of the opening of the Elixir Dragon Valley had spread far and wide. Genius martial artists from the surrounding cities had swarmed into Profound Sky City, causing the city to become unusually lively. When venturing into the Elixir Dragon Valley, elixirs were essential. As the largest herb store in the Heaven Mystic City and even the Great Shia Kingdom, the Snow Region Pavilion's business was naturally booming. Just as he entered the Snow Domain Pavilion, a manservant greeted him with a smile. "Sir, are you here to buy herbs or pills?" With a flick of his wrist, Ningyu took out the 3-star consecration token and said, "I'm looking for your boss, Elder Mo." "Greetings, my lord." Seeing the 3-star token in Ningyu's hand, the manservant said respectfully and carefully, "Elder Mo is entertaining an important guest. Please wait a moment, I'll go call him. It's so convenient to do things with it." After keeping the 3-star token, Ningyu did not choose to wait patiently. Instead, he found a pen and paper and wrote down the medicinal herbs he needed. In one of the rooms of the Snow Domain Pavilion, several people were talking. "Miss Lu, the main reason I'm here is to enter the Pill Dragon Valley with you," Wu Yong said as he picked up the tea on the table and took a sip. "Young Master Wu, with your strength, I'm afraid that many people will want to form an alliance with you," Lu Wei said with a slight frown. Old Mo said, "Young Master Wu, if I'm not wrong, your cultivation has already reached the peak of the early stage Carnate realm. It won't be long before you advance to the mid-stage Carnate realm, right? With your strength, even if you enter the Pill Dragon Valley alone, you will be able to do as you please." Wu Yong smiled and said, "Even though my cultivation has reached the peak of early Xian Tian realm, the Pill Dragon Valley is the abode of an alchemist, and Miss Lu is a second-tier alchemist. Entering the Pill Dragon Valley with her is the right choice." Wu Yong was not stupid. An alchemist's soul force was relatively strong, so it was easy for him to discover some hidden dangers. Elixir Dragon Valley was the abode of an early-stage Level 5 Elixir Refinement Master, so it was inevitable that there would be some restrictions inside. Apart from Elixir Refinement Masters, it would be very difficult to remove those restrictions with martial Dao cultivation. Therefore, no matter how powerful Wu Yong was, he had to enter the Pill Dragon Valley with the alchemist. Lu Wei frowned and did not agree immediately. Seeing Lu Xuan's reaction, Wu Yong added, "The competition in the Elixir Dragon Valley is fierce as well. When Lady Lu is in danger, I will be in danger as well. I will shield Lady Lu from all dangers." Dong dong. After some thoughts, Lu Xuan was about to say something when he heard noises coming from the door. Elder Hiroshi walked forward and opened the door. "Elder Mo, there's a young 3-star consecrator outside who wants to see you," the manservant said as he stood outside the door. "Esteemed Elder." Elder Hiroshi frowned. Just as he was about to ask a question, a thought suddenly came to his mind, and he said, "I understand. You can leave for now." The servant turned around and left. "Elder Mo, could it be Ningyu?" Lu Wei asked. Nodding, Elder Hiroshi said, "It should be Ningyu. Should we invite him over?" "No need, I'll go there myself." Lu Wei immediately stood up and apologized to Wu Yong, saying, "Young Master Wu, I have to go see someone. Please wait here for a moment." "Miss Lu, I know Ningyu as well. Let's go together," Wu Yong said. Glancing at Wu Yong, Lu Wei did not refuse. In the morning, she learned of what happened in Drunken Cloud a few days ago. Not long after, Lu Wei and Wu Yong arrived at Snow Domain Pavilion's main hall. Walking quickly to Ningyu, Lu Wei said, "Ningyu, why are you here? Why didn't you inform me in advance?" Smiling at Lu Wei, Ningyu said, "I came in a hurry this time, mainly to buy some herbs." Wu Yong. Before he finished, Ningyu saw Wu Yong behind Lu Wei and asked in surprise, "Why are you here too?" "Ningyu, I trust you have been well since we last met." Wu Yong said, "I'm looking for Lu Wei to discuss the matter of entering Pill Dragon Valley." "Gentlemen, this is not the place to talk," Old Mo said. After all, this was Snow Domain Pavilion's main hall. With so many people coming and going, it was not convenient to talk. Leading Ningyu and the others into a room, Old Mo said, You guys talk first, I have something to do. Inside the room, Lu Wei, Wu Yong, and Ningyu sat in 3 different positions. None of them spoke first. After a while, Lu Wei was the first to break the silence, saying, Ningyu, I heard that you and Zhong Wenyong have agreed to a life-and-death duel? Nodding, Ningyu did not deny it. Fool. Lu Wei's face darkened, a little angry, and said, I heard that Zhong Wenyong has reached the peak of early-stage Xiantian, and a Zhong family expert came to bless him. In a week, he will definitely reach mid-stage Xiantian. What's the difference between you and him having a life-and-death duel? Ningyu, I also did not expect Zhong Wenyong's strength to improve so quickly. Wu Yong sighed. How about this, let's enter Pill Dragon Valley together. With old Mo around, Zhong Wenyong will not dare to attack you in the outer valley. After thinking for a while, Lu Wei said, and once we enter the inner valley, with me and young Master Wu, even if Zhong Wenyong has reached mid-stage Xiantian, we can still fight. Yes, Ningyu, I am here to discuss the matter of entering Pill Dragon Valley. It just so happens that the 3 of us can form an alliance. Wu Yong's eyes lit up, and he said, Ningyu was able to cure Liu Shan's hidden illness, and made Liu Shan, a second-grade alchemist, treat him with respect. From this, it could be seen that his alchemy level had most likely reached the 2nd grade. Ningyu's martial arts cultivation was not weak, and he could withstand a full-force blow from Song Fei at mid-stage Xiantian. Now, when Wu Yong looked at Ningyu, he had a hazy feeling. In other words, even he could not see through Ningyu's real cultivation. Could it be that he has advanced to the late-stage Xiantian? Just as this thought appeared in his mind, he could not get rid of it. The way Wu Yong looked at Ningyu changed. If Ningyu had really advanced to the late-stage Xiantian, then he might have a 10% chance of winning against Zhong Wenyong. As for Ningyu himself, he was not too worried. With his current strength, even if he could not kill a mid-stage Xiantian warrior, it would not be easy for a mid-stage Xiantian warrior to kill him. Lu Wei, Wu Yong, thank you for your kindness. Ningyu had to thank Wu Yong and Lu Wei for their kindness, but regarding the alliance, he had his own views. He said, there is no need for an alliance. The Zhong family was powerful in the capital, and Ningyu did not want Wu Yong and Lu Wei to get involved. Ningyu, you are the Snow Pavilion's 3 stars consecrator, and we are on the same side. Ningyu looked displeased, and said, the alliance is decided. Don't say anything else. In 2 days, we will set off for Dan Dragon Valley. Ningyu did not want to go with them, but since Lu Wei was so determined, he could not refuse. After all, Lu Wei had helped him a lot. If not for old Mo, he would have been killed by Lin Jingtian. With a bitter smile, Ningyu said, in that case, let's form an alliance. Then I will go back and prepare. We will meet at the city gate in 2 days. Wu Yong stood up, said goodbye to Lu Wei, and left the Snow Pavilion. After Wu Yong left, Ningyu took out a piece of paper from his pocket and handed it to Lu Wei. I need some herbs. Get me a portion of these herbs. Jasper grass, camel peak flower. Chapter 58. Never heard of it. Lu Wei was surprised, but Ningyu was even more surprised. These herbs were relatively common 20 years ago and not expensive. Why hadn't Lu Wei heard of them? Nodding, Lu Wei said, I've never heard of these herbs. Why don't you let old Mo take a look? This time, Lu Wei didn't question Ningyu. She wanted old Mo to take a look and confirm if he had seen these herbs before. Last time, Ningyu had shocked her, so she didn't dare to make a rash judgment. If she hadn't seen the marrow cleansing pill recipe Ningyu had taken out last time, she wouldn't have been so angry. In other words, Snow Pavilion doesn't have these herbs. Ningyu frowned. Camel peak flower, jasper grass, and the other herbs were essential to refining the soul enchanting pill. Without them, it would be impossible to successfully refine the soul enchanting pill. I don't know the specifics. Let old Mo take a look. Saying this, Lu Wei got up to call old Mo. A moment later, old Mo came to the room. Looking at the names of the herbs on the paper, old Mo was surprised and couldn't help but look at Ningyu. The jasper grass was extremely precious, worth 1 high-grade crystal. There were only 2 pearls in the entire Snow Pavilion. Moreover, the jasper grass was very helpful for soul damage. As for what kind of pill it could be used to refine, he didn't know. As for the camel peak flower and the other herbs, he had heard of them a few times when he was at Danwu College. But that was all. He didn't know their specific effects. After thinking for a moment, Old Mo said, Snow Pavilion has the jasper grass. As for the camel peak flower and the other herbs, Snow Pavilion doesn't have them. If you really need them, you can try your luck at Danwu College. Forget it. Get me 2 sets of the herbs on the list. I'll think of something else. Helpless, Ningyu said, also, do you have an illusionary cloud beast's core? If you have them, give me 5 sets of the herbs needed for the essence condensing pill. He couldn't go to Danwu College right now, so the matter of refining the soul enchanting pill could only be temporarily put on hold. As for the absolute soul sword, it did not have the assistance of the soul imprint pill, so he could not imprint his soul imprint inside. Ningyu pondered whether he should buy another earth-grade flying sword. Touching his storage pouch, Ningyu dispelled this thought. After all, he only had over 90 high-grade origin crystals, and the cheapest low-grade earth-rank flying sword required 10,000 high-grade origin crystals. He couldn't afford it at all. 10 minutes later, Ningyu took 2 sets of herbs for the soul enchanting pill and 5 sets of herbs for the soul condensing pill and left the Snow Domain Pavilion through the back door. Elder Mo, why did Ningyu buy 5 sets of ingredients for the soul condensing pill? Could it be that he really can concoct the soul condensing pill? Lu Wei asked doubtfully. The soul condensing pill is a 3rd-grade pinnacle pill. Even I can't say that I can successfully concoct it, let alone Ningyu. Elder Mo said, in my opinion, he bought the herbs mainly because he doesn't believe in heresy. He has a drive and must concoct the soul condensing pill. Right, the inner valley of Pill Dragon Valley is extremely dangerous. Use these 2 days to prepare well and strive to advance to the pinnacle of the post-liminary realm. As if thinking of something, Elder Mo said solemnly, Danwu College has also sent out 20 students for training. Among them, there are a few who are ranked in the top 1,000 of the outer yard. They are very strong. You must be careful when the time comes. Hearing this, Lu Wei's heart skipped a beat and she secretly became cautious. To be able to rank in the top 1,000 of the outer yard of Danwu College, their martial cultivation had reached the post-liminary realm. The inner valley of Pill Dragon Valley was extremely dangerous. If one's martial cultivation was not high, a little carelessness could lead to disaster. Actually, you don't have to worry too much. Seeing Lu Wei's expression, Elder Mo waved his hand and said, the experts of the family will arrive tonight. By then, Xia Linxian will follow. With him protecting you, at least your safety can be guaranteed. Xia Linxian? Raising her eyebrow, Lu Wei was slightly surprised. When Xia Linxian was 12 years old, he displayed shocking martial talent and advanced to the pinnacle of body tempering stage 10. A year later, he reached the post-liminary realm. When he was 15 years old, he broke through the limits of the post-liminary realm and advanced to the early stage post-liminary realm. This year, he was 18 years old. No one knew his exact cultivation. But the outside world guessed that he had probably advanced to the mid-stage post-liminary realm. Xia Linxian is the pillar of the younger generation in the capital. His strength is unfathomable. Nodding, Elder Mo said, this time, the pavilion master spent a lot of money to invite him into the inner valley to protect you. Nodding, Elder Mo said, Elder Mo, this year, Xia Linxian should be participating in Danwu College's assessment, right? Lu Wei asked. That's right. This year, Danwu College is recruiting in large numbers. Most of the younger generation who didn't participate in the assessment a few years ago will be participating. Elder Mo explained, with Xia Linxian's strength, it won't be a problem for him to take first place in the assessment. He might even be nurtured as an inner yard disciple. Who knows, he might even become a core disciple in a year's time. Oh right, Elder Mo, what did my father promise Xia Linxian to make him, a martial arts fanatic, willing to waste his time to protect me? Lu Wei was puzzled. In the capital, everyone knew that Xia Linxian was a martial arts fanatic who spent 20 hours a day on cultivation. To be able to invite him, her father must have spent a lot of money. A supreme chi condensation pill. Taking a deep breath, Elder Mo said, in order to invite Xia Linxian, the pavilion master bought a supreme chi condensation pill from the black market. Otherwise, Xia Linxian would definitely not come. Elder Mo sighed. Right now, he was half a step into the true martial realm. Once he had a supreme chi condensation pill, he would have a 50% chance of breaking through his limit and advancing to the true martial realm. Even though the market price of a supreme chi condensation pill was very low, only 1,000 high-grade crystals, there was no market for it. Unless it was some big alchemy sect, no one would sell it. Elder Mo, now that you've advanced to a 4th-grade alchemist, I believe my father will definitely buy you a supreme chi condensation pill. All these years, Elder Mo had been working hard for the Snow Domain Pavilion. He even gave up the capital to enter a small place like Tianqian City. Lu Wei had seen all of this. When this matter comes to an end, I will ask my father to allow you to return to the capital. Hihi, it's the same no matter where I am, Elder Mo said with a smile. At the same time, Ningyu had already returned home. As he was going to set off for Dan Dragon Valley in 2 days, Ningyu did not dare to waste a single moment. First, he took out a high-grade crystal and used the spirit transformation art to absorb it, adjusting his condition to its peak. Then, with a flick of his wrist, Ningyu took out 5 sets of herbs for the chi condensation pill. Taking out the cauldron, origin energy coiled around his palm. Sizzling sounds could be heard as the flames surged crazily at the bottom of the cauldron. This trip to Dan Dragon Valley was fraught with danger. Having a supreme chi condensation pill on him was a form of insurance for Ningyu. Immersing his consciousness into the cauldron, he placed the herbs into the cauldron with his left hand. Extending his soul force, he carefully extracted the herbs. Even though he had already refined 3 cauldrons of chi condensation pills, and 2 of them were supreme chi condensation pills, Ningyu did not dare to be careless. Chapter 59. Time flew. 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. Early in the morning, when the first ray of sunlight rose, Ningyu hurriedly packed up and left the Ning family quietly. Before long, Ningyu arrived at the city gates of Tianqian City. Hihi, Ningyu, you're early. As soon as Ningyu stepped out of the city gate, he saw Wu Yong waiting outside. Wu Yong came to Ningyu's side and said, I haven't seen you for 2 days. Your cultivation has improved again. It will be difficult for me to defeat you without some effort. Compared to you, I'm already late. Glancing at Wu Yong, Ningyu said, Peak early stage Carnate. I believe you will break through to mid-stage Carnate after this trip to Elixir Dragon Valley. Hihi, it is not that easy to break through to the middle stage of the Xiantian realm. If I had a soul solidifying pellet, I might be able to try to break through to the middle stage of the Xiantian realm. Waving his hand, Wu Yong said, let's wait a little longer. Condensing pill. Touching his storage pouch, Ningyu rolled his eyes. 2 days, 5 cauldrons of elixirs, 1 superior grade condensing pill, and 4 superior grade condensing pills. In addition to the Supreme Essence condensing pill from last time, Ningyu had a total of 5 Supreme Essence condensing pills and 1 high-grade Essence condensing pill, but he did not plan to give them to Wu Yong. After all, he was not particularly familiar with Wu Yong, so there was no need for him to give them to Wu Yong. Whoosh! At this moment, the air seemed to tremble. Countless air currents gathered at one spot. In the next moment, a man in white appeared. The man in white carried a huge sword on his back. His face was resolute. Mid-stage Carnate? Seeing the man in white, Ningyu raised his eyebrows. He was secretly shocked. Although the man in white had concealed his aura, his sharp soul perception was still able to determine the man's cultivation. Mid-stage Carnate. The man in white was probably about the same age as him, but his cultivation had already reached the mid-stage Carnate. This martial arts talent was shocking. Xia Linxian. Wu Yong's shock was much greater than Ningyu's. At this moment, his mouth was slightly agape, and he was almost stunned on the spot. In the capital, Xia Linxian was the leader of the younger generation. He was very powerful. Some people speculated that his strength was on par with the top 1,000 martial artists in the inner yard of Danwu College. Most importantly, Xia Linxian had always been a loner and had never stepped out of the capital. Why would he come to Elixir Dragon Valley this time? Whoosh. Then, Lu Wei tapped the ground with her toes and landed steadily in front of Ningyu and the others. Ningyu, this is Xia Linxian from the capital. After landing, Lu Wei explained, he will enter the inner valley with us. By the way, didn't Elder Hiroshi say that he wanted to go in with us? Ningyu was puzzled. Elder Mo will meet us at the entrance of Pill Dragon Valley's outer valley. We'll make a move first, Lu Wei said. To reach Pill Dragon Valley's outer valley, they had to pass through the magical Beast Ridge. There were many demonic beasts in the magical Beast Ridge, and it was a good place to train. Naturally, Elder Mo would not follow them. As for the safety of Lu Wei and the others, with Xia Linxian around, Elder Mo was very assured. Rumble. Suddenly, a sword aura shot out of thin air, directly attacking Ningyu. Xia Linxian, what are you doing? Lu Wei did not expect Xia Linxian to attack Ningyu. She immediately shouted, Ningyu is Snow Domain Pavilion's 3 stars consecrator. Xia Linxian's sudden attack made Lu Wei's expression change drastically. She knew Xia Linxian's strength. Not to mention one Ningyu, even 3 or 4 Ningyus might not be able to withstand a single attack from Xia Linxian. Ningyu, be careful, Wu Yong hurriedly reminded. Feeling the huge pressure, Ningyu frowned, but he still stood his ground, not moving an inch. Not bad. No wonder he can become Snow Domain Pavilion's 3 stars consecrator. First of all, cultivation aside, his determination is very rare. The sword aura was extremely fast, appearing 30 centimeters in front of Ningyu's chest in the blink of an eye. Based on this trend, Xia Linxian had no intention of stopping. Ningyu's expression changed slightly. He formed a hand seal with his right hand and took out the azure cloud sword. Kai Kai. As the sword struck out, the surrounding air seemed to be burning, letting out a sizzling sound. Pa. In the next instant, the azure cloud sword collided with Xia Linxian's sword aura, producing a low muffled sound. Feeling the huge rebound from his wrist, Ningyu's feet touched the ground, and he took a few steps back to dissipate the force. As for Xia Linxian, he stood in the same place, frowning, as if he was recalling the move just now. Xia Linxian, what the hell are you doing? Seeing that Xia Linxian had stopped, Lu Wei hurried to Ningyu's side and examined Ningyu. After making sure that he was fine, she scolded, I told you before we came, Ningyu is Snow Domain Pavilion's 3 stars consecrator, and I told you not to have any conflict with him. Ignoring Lu Wei's scolding, Xia Linxian looked at the azure cloud sword in Ningyu's hand and frowned, your sword attack just now was very powerful. If you used an Earthgrade flying sword, I'm afraid you could have forced me to draw my sword. You are also very strong, Ningyu said in a deep voice. Indeed, Xia Linxian was very strong, even stronger than Song Fei of Drunken Cloud Brothel. Even though Ningyu had displayed the Supreme 9 Purities sword art, he could only block Xia Linxian's sword chi. Once Xia Linxian drew his sword, Ningyu would definitely not be his opponent. If I'm not wrong, your cultivation should have reached the late Hu Tian stage, or even infinitely close to the peak Hu Tian stage, Xia Linxian said. Xia Linxian's words made Ningyu's heart skip a beat. He thought to himself that Xia Linxian was indeed worthy of being the capital's #1 genius. He could actually see through his cultivation. It must be known that the outside world generally believed that he was at the middle Hu Tian stage, but Xia Linxian could actually see through it. Ningyu couldn't help but think a little more highly of him. The peak of the middle Hu Tian stage, your talent is also not bad, Ningyu said. What? As soon as Ningyu's voice fell, Wu Yong suddenly jumped up. Xia Linxian's cultivation has reached the peak of the middle Hu Tian stage? This is too abnormal, it is really infuriating to compare with others. The peak of the middle Hu Tian stage. Lu Wei's heart also jumped. No wonder her father would use a supreme grade condensing essence pill to invite Xia Linxian, so his strength had already reached this level. You can see through my cultivation? Xia Linxian was finally moved, his mouth slightly opened, feeling a little incredulous. The reason why he could see through Ningyu's cultivation was because he had a fortuitous encounter in his early years, practicing a kind of cultivation method that was especially sensitive to Yuan Qi. Practicing this kind of cultivation method not only had a special sense of other people's cultivation, but also could conceal one's own aura. Ning Yu could see through his cultivation. It seemed that there was a secret. Shrugging, Ning Yu said, "I just guessed." Ning Yu's words made Xia Linxian have an impulse to vomit blood, but he still had a feeling that Ning Yu could really see through his cultivation, and it didn't seem like a blind guess. "Let's quickly set off, after all, we still have to pass through the Magic Beast mountain range." Wu Yong took the lead and flew into the distance. Taking another look at Ning Yu, Xia Linxian's toes touched the ground, and his body instantly shot out. "Ning Yu," Lu Wei said, her mouth slightly open. "Let's go." Seeing that Lu Xuan wanted to say something, Ning Yu spoke in an indifferent manner. After which, he ran into the distance. Damn it. Chapter 60. The Magical Beast mountain range was located 25 li east of Tianqian City. It was rumored that many demonic beasts roamed within. Although the mountain range was extremely dangerous, the 4 major clans of Tianqian City would send their disciples there every year to train and fight against the demonic beasts. Of course, they only stayed at the periphery of the mountain range, not daring to enter. Pill Dragon Valley was located on the other side of the mountain range. In order to enter the valley, one had to pass through the extremely dangerous region. In a very deep region of the mountain range, under a dozen towering trees, 3 young cultivators stood with their backs against each other. They were wielding sabers, swords, and other weapons. Their clothes were tattered, and burn marks could be seen everywhere. A few corpses lay beside them, their bodies already a bloody mess from being pecked. Although the clothes of the 3 young men were tattered, one could tell from their temperament and tattered clothes that they came from an extraordinary background. One of the young men was carrying a petite bloodthirsty eagle in his arms. Clearly, it was a cub. The dozen or so bloodthirsty eagles were all over 2 meters long. They had fiery red feathers, hook-like beaks, and scissor-like tails. One of the bloodthirsty eagles swooped down and clawed at one of the young men. Then, it took to the sky again. Another bloodthirsty eagle did the same thing. Clearly, these bloodthirsty eagles were intelligent. Damn it! Why is my luck so bad? Lu Fei spat out a mouthful of saliva and cursed. Lu Fei, you still have the cheek to say that. If you didn't steal the bloodthirsty eagle's cub, would we be in this situation? Lu Fei's words enraged Yun Qiong. Originally, he and 4 Danwu College students had entered the Magical Beast mountain range to enter the outer valley of Pill Dragon Valley as soon as possible. Who would have thought that they would meet Lu Fei from Danwu College? Moreover, Lu Fei had stolen the bloodthirsty eagle's cub, thoroughly angering the bloodthirsty eagles and causing them to hunt him down. Yun Qiong accidentally fell into a dangerous situation and was also targeted by the bloodthirsty eagles. After a few battles, the 4 Danwu College students all died in battle. Currently, only Yun Qiong, Lu Fei, and one of Lu Fei's followers were left. I didn't ask you to come with me. You're the one who wants the bloodthirsty eagle's cub, right? Lu Fei snorted coldly. You. Clenching his fists, Yun Qiong's eyes burned with anger, but he quickly suppressed it. Lu Fei's cultivation was profound, and he had long since reached the middle stage of the Xiantian realm. He was ranked among the top 100 in the outer court of Danwu College, and his strength was unfathomable. Moreover, Lu Fei's followers' cultivation was not low either, having reached the late stage of the Xiantian realm. Suddenly, Lu Fei's follower sensed something and said, "There are 4 young martial artists 1,000 meters to the right. Yun Qiang, hold the wild bloodthirsty hawk hatchlings and lure them away." Lu Fei's eyes lit up as he hurriedly threw the bloodthirsty wild eaglet to Yun Qiang and said, "When we return to Danwu College, I'll definitely report this to my uncle and get you a soul-condensing pill." Whoosh! Hugging the cub, Yun Qiang's expression changed. He could sense the bloodthirsty wild hawk's aura locking onto him. Get lost. While Yun Qiang wasn't paying attention, Lu Fei kicked Yun Qiang into the distance. Ruthlessness. As soon as Yun Qiang moved, the bloodthirsty wild hawk in the air flapped its wings and swooped down at him. Oh my god! With no time to think, Yun Qiang broke into a run at lightning speed, using every ounce of strength he had left. Everyone, be careful. There will be rank 3 demonic beasts ahead. At that moment, in the magical beast ridge, a group of 4 young cultivators was walking slowly. Wu Yong casually tossed aside a rank 2 demonic beast and reminded them, rank 3 demonic beasts are very powerful, equivalent to a Xiantian realm martial artist. How much longer until we reach the outer valley of the Pill Dragon Valley? Ningyu asked. If we move at full speed, it'll take about a day and a night. Wu Yong said, that's under the premise that we don't encounter a horde of demonic beasts. Once we do, our speed will drop to freezing point, and we might not even be able to move an inch. In the magical beast ridge, the scariest thing was not encountering powerful demonic beasts, but encountering a horde of demonic beasts. Wherever the horde of demonic beasts passed, not even a blade of grass would grow. There was no sign of life at all. Hurry up, I can sense the aura of at least 10 rank 3 demonic beasts in the surroundings. Xia Linxian took a step forward and headed into the distance. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Just then, the whistling of flying beasts came from the depths of the magical beast ridge, accompanied by a few screams and curses. Ningyu's brows twitched, immediately realizing that there were cultivators fighting with flying beasts in the depths of the magical beast ridge. Bloodthirsty mad eagles. From the whistling, Ningyu determined that the flying beasts were bloodthirsty mad eagles, early stage rank 3 demonic beast. Xia Linxian cupped his fists and said calmly, I advise you to mind your own business. The flying beasts in front of us are very powerful, and there are a lot of them. If that's the case, let's go around them. Lu Wei was not a nosy person. She knew that their destination was the Pill Dragon Valley, and wasting time here was not worth it. It's too late. However, Ningyu's heart sank, and his expression turned ugly. He said in a low voice, someone is leading the bloodthirsty mad eagles in our direction. The moment he said coming, Ningyu saw a figure charging in their direction at lightning speed. Yun Qiong. Ningyu recognized the cultivator at a glance. It was Danwu College's Yun Qiong. Prepare for battle. Xia Linxian bellowed and took out the giant sword on his back, his expression solemn. Those are bloodthirsty mad eagles, early stage rank 3 demonic beasts. Their strength is comparable to a mid-stage Xiantian martial artist. Ningyu. Yun Qiong's eyes were very sharp, and he naturally saw Ningyu. After a momentary daze, he immediately increased his speed and flew over. Swoosh. Suddenly, a sword aura came from afar, heading straight for the dozen or so bloodthirsty mad eagles in the air. Woo-woo. Perhaps sensing danger, the bloodthirsty mad eagles let out a few screams and immediately scattered. However, they did not leave. Instead, they circled above the group, waiting for the next time to swoop down. In the blink of an eye, Yun Qiong arrived beside Ningyu's group with the bloodthirsty mad eagles in his arms. He sat on the ground, panting heavily. Yun Qiong, why did you lure these bloodthirsty mad eagles over? Ningyu's expression was dark. If not for Wu Yong and the rest, he would have killed Yun Qiong long ago. Ningyu, I had no choice. Yun Qiong was not stupid. Xia Linxian's shocking sword attack had forced the bloodthirsty mad eagles back, giving him hope of survival. He had to hold on tightly to Ningyu's group. He could not be eliminated. Yun Qiong's eyes darted around, and he hurriedly said, Ningyu, as long as you are willing to save me, I will tell you a secret. It's about your big brother, Ning Xian. Swoosh. Ningyu's expression turned cold. He took a step forward, and a powerful aura pressed down on Yun Qiong. Speak. What happened to my big brother? Under the pressure of Ningyu's aura, Yun Qiong felt like he could not breathe. He was shocked. Ningyu's strength had improved so quickly. He did not feel this way a few days ago. However, Yun Qiong did not think too much about it. He hurriedly said, your big brother and Kongyu went deep into the magical beast mountain range. They also want to go to Pill Dragon Valley. I heard that they were surrounded at the entrance of Pill Dragon Valley. Chapter 61. What did you say? Ningyu's face turned cold. His aura gushed out crazily and pressed down on Yun Qiong unscrupulously. Is this true or not? Tell me the truth. Plop. Unable to withstand Ningyu's powerful aura, Yun Qiong knelt on the ground and quickly said, it's absolutely true. If I'm lying, may I be struck by lightning. Hua. With a thought, Ningyu instantly withdrew his aura. His face was ashen. The people of the corpse sect were extremely vicious. Once they targeted someone, the consequences would be unimaginable. In addition, Ning Xian's cultivation was only at the early stage of the Hutian realm. How could he be a match for the corpse sect? Screech! Screech! At this moment, the two bloodthirsty wild eagles finally couldn't bear it anymore. They cried out and quickly rushed toward Yun Qiong. Ningyu, I'll give you this bloodthirsty wild eagle hatchling. Yun Qiong quickly threw the hatchling to Ningyu and took a few steps back. This isn't a bloodthirsty wild eagle, but a dragon eagle. Looking at the hatchling in his arms, Ningyu was stunned for a moment. He determined that the hatchling didn't belong to a bloodthirsty wild eagle, but a dragon eagle hatchling. Whoosh! Whoosh! While Ningyu was still in a daze, the bloodthirsty wild eagles in the air suddenly changed their direction and swiped at Ningyu with their sharp claws. Noisy. At this moment, Ningyu was a little irritated. The two cyclones in his body became violent. He took out the azure cloud sword and swung it around. Poochie. The azure cloud sword was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, two sword rays shot out and landed on the wings of the two bloodthirsty wild eagles. Although the wings of the bloodthirsty wild eagles were extremely hard, they were still cut off by the powerful sword rays. Bang! Bang! The two bloodthirsty wild eagles fell to the ground and let out miserable screams. The sudden change caused Lu Wei and the others to gape in shock. Ningyu was too abnormal, right? The bloodthirsty wild eagle was an early-stage third-order demonic beast, and its strength was equivalent to a Xiantian middle-stage martial artist. Ningyu had actually cut off their wings with a single slash. With such strength, it was no wonder that Lu Wei and the others were shocked. Looks like he hid his strength when he fought with me. In the distance, Xia Linxian frowned slightly. He was somewhat shocked. At the city gate of Tianqian City, he and Ningyu hastily exchanged blows. At that time, he didn't use any transcendent artifact, so Ningyu was at a disadvantage. This time, it was the same move, but it was much more powerful than before. Xia Linxian guessed that he would have to use his full strength to block Ningyu's sword. Brother Xia, why don't we work together to repel these bloodthirsty wild hawks? Ningyu did not become arrogant after killing two bloodthirsty mad eagles. Instead, he suggested working together with Xia Linxian. This was because Ningyu knew very well that the reason the bloodthirsty wild hawks had been cut down by him was because they had been too careless and had focused all their attention on the dragon eagle hatchling. On top of that, he had used his full strength without holding back, and had even used the key within two cyclones. Under such circumstances, he had only been able to kill two bloodthirsty wild hawks with a single slash. Otherwise, he would have only been able to deal with one bloodthirsty wild hawk. This was also the reason why Ningyu wanted to work together with Xia Linxian. All right. Nodding, Xia Linxian waved the giant sword in his hand, tapped the ground with the tip of his foot, and soared into the air. Swoosh! The giant sword in his hand slashed down, and a huge sword light suddenly appeared, blasting directly at the bloodthirsty wild hawks in the sky. Lu Wei, carry this hatchling. After passing the hatchling to Lu Wei, Ningyu rose from the ground, and his ki continuously poured into the Qingyun sword. Then, he used the first form of the Supreme Nine Purities sword art and joined the battle. Seeing that Ningyu and the others had joined the battle, Wu Yong also joined the battle. His cultivation was at the peak of the early Carnate stage. Although his strength was not as strong as Ningyu and Xia Linxian, he could still hold off one bloodthirsty wild hawk. As for Lu Wei, she took a few steps back, holding the hatchling in her arms, her brows tightly knitted together. This was because she realized that the hatchling was actually injured. A piece of flesh had been torn off its chest, and the feathers on its wings were dull. Immediately, Lu Wei's maternal instincts were aroused, and she quickly took out the medicinal herbs she carried with her to stop the bleeding. I didn't expect you to be an alchemist as well, Yun Qiong leaned over and said shamelessly. Without raising her head, Lu Wei said coldly as she stopped the hatchling's bleeding, if you don't go and help, I won't be able to help you if anything happens. Hearing this, Yun Qiong's expression changed. Recalling the shock that Ningyu had given him, he gritted his teeth, and in an instant, he leaped out and joined the battle. Yun Qiong was not stupid. He immediately reacted to Lu Wei's reminder. His cultivation was also at the early carnate stage, similar to Wu Yong. It would not be a problem for him to hold off a bloodthirsty wild hawk for a short period of time. He knew very well that he was the cause of this trouble. If he had not brought news of Ning Xian, Ningyu would have killed him long ago. Therefore, he exerted all of his strength and did not dare to hold back in the slightest. Boom! A ray of sword chi shot out, and Xia Linxian said, "Ningyu, with our strength, I'm afraid it will be difficult to force these bloodthirsty wild hawks to retreat. It seems like we need to think of another way. If this continues, our yuan qi will be depleted. Why don't we return the hatchling to them?" After attacking a few times, Ningyu shook his head and said, "According to my observation, even if we return the hatchling to them, they will not give up. After all, it is not their hatchling, but the hatchling of their natural enemy." Frowning, Xia Linxian said, "If that's the case, we can only fight to the death." Swoosh! Xia Linxian instantly increased his speed, and with a slash, he landed on the neck of a bloodthirsty wild hawk. Crack! With a crack, the bloodthirsty wild hawk's neck was severed, its head separated from its body. That huge sword of his should be an earth-rank flying sword. Ningyu was somewhat shocked. A flying sword that could sever the neck of a bloodthirsty wild hawk had to be at least earth-rank, otherwise it would be very difficult to do so. Damn it, if I had refined the soul imprint pill and imprinted my soul imprint on the soul-severing sword, coupled with the supreme 9 purities sword art, killing these bloodthirsty wild hawks would not be difficult. Grasping the emerald cloud sword, the yuan qi in the two cyclones gushed out wildly. Ningyu felt extremely frustrated, as if he had the power but could not use it. The supreme 9 purities sword art was extremely powerful, but without a flying sword, it could not display its full power. Moreover, after using the supreme 9 purities sword art several times, the emerald cloud sword could not hold on any longer, and the cracks on the sword gradually increased. According to Ningyu's judgment, the emerald cloud sword would break completely after using the supreme 9 purities sword art 4 to 5 more times. I have to force them to retreat or kill them as soon as possible. With a cold glint in his eyes, Ningyu knew that Ning Xian was under attack at the entrance of the Elixir Dragon Valley's outer valley, and he had to rush there as soon as possible. Netherworld Samsara Palm, second style, lonely name. His hands formed a series of hand seals, and the yuan qi in his body gathered on his palms. Go! With a low grunt, Ningyu swung his hands out. Chapter 62. Pucci. Before the two bloodthirsty wild eagles could react, they were struck by the giant palm and turned into specks of bloody light, completely disappearing from the world. Whoosh! Ningyu's thunderous attack stunned the other bloodthirsty wild eagles in the sky. They stared at Ningyu as if he was the Grim Reaper, the fear in their eyes visible. The shock that came from the depths of their souls prevented them from acting rashly. They could only cry out a few times in the air. Phew! Seeing the reaction of the bloodthirsty wild eagles, Ningyu let out a long sigh. Currently, before he refined the soul imprint pill, his strongest move was the Netherworld Samsara Palm. Relying on the unique soul attack of the second move of the Netherworld Samsara Palm, he could contend against a Xiantian realm martial artist when he was in the late Hutian realm. Once he refined the soul imprint pill and imprinted his soul imprint into the soul-breaking sword, his strongest move would be the supreme 9 purities sword art that he executed with the soul-breaking sword. After all, the soul-severing sword was a heaven-ranked magic treasure. Ningyu is actually this strong? Yun Qiong was somewhat dumbfounded. He had thought that he had overestimated Ningyu, but Ningyu had given him a shock that far exceeded his expectations. Ningyu's two palms just now made him feel like his soul was trembling. So this is your true strength. Xia Linxian's eyes narrowed, his fighting spirit surging. He had the urge to spar with Ningyu. Screech! Screech! At this moment, 6 or 7 bloodthirsty wild eagles were circling in the sky, crying out. They did not dare to swoop down recklessly. With a cold look in his eyes, Ningyu tapped the ground with the tip of his foot and waved his hands again. In an instant, 2 giant palm prints appeared. Boom! Boom! The palm prints did not stop at all, speeding into the sky. Seeing Ningyu's thunderous attack, Xie Linxian's yuan qi circulated wildly, pouring endlessly into the giant sword. In the next instant, a giant sword light slashed out, following closely behind the 2 palm prints. Voila! Perhaps it was due to the immense pressure exerted on the bloodthirsty wild eagles by the palm imprint and the sword light, they let out a shrill cry and flew off into the distance. Whoosh! As soon as the bloodthirsty wild eagle flew away, Ningyu felt a wave of dizziness wash over him, and he felt like he was on the verge of collapsing. Lu Wei rushed to Ningyu's side and supported him, asking with concern, "Are you all right?" Waving his hand, Ningyu said, "I'm fine. Let's hurry up and reach the Pill Dragon Valley's outer valley as soon as possible." Stomping her foot, Lu Wei said angrily, "With your current state, even if you rush to the outer valley of Pill Dragon Valley, you won't be able to save Ning Xian. In my opinion, you should recuperate for a period of time. It won't be too late to rush there after you've recovered to your peak state." "I'm really fine." Pushing away Lu Wei, Ningyu wanted to take a few steps, but his legs gave way and he fell to the ground. The previous few attacks had already drained Ningyu's origin qi. Now, there wasn't even a shred of origin qi left in his body. Moreover, his whole body was extremely weak, and he really didn't have the strength to even truss a chicken. Circulating the spirit transformation art, Ningyu hurriedly absorbed some of the origin qi in the air, giving his arms and legs some strength. "Let's rest on the way. The corpse yin sect's way of doing things is incomparably sinister. I'm afraid it'll be too late if we delay any longer." Taking out a mid-grade origin crystal, Ningyu began to frantically absorb it to replenish his origin qi. Back at the Drunken Cloud Pavilion, he had 110 mid-grade origin crystals from Song Fei, but he hadn't used them yet. Taking them out to absorb now was just right. After all, taking out high-grade origin crystals to absorb in front of Wu Yong and Xie Linxian was a bit exaggerated. Gah, gah. When Ningyu took out the mid-grade origin crystal, the dragon eagle chick let out a few strange cries and struggled to break free from Lu Wei's embrace. Its small eyes shone brightly. Seeing this, Ningyu broke off a small piece of origin crystal and handed it to the dragon eagle chick. Catcher. The dragon eagle chick swallowed the origin crystal fragment after chewing for a bit. "Hey, this chick is a bit special. It can actually swallow mid-grade origin crystals." Xie Linxian was a bit shocked. He had seen demonic beasts that could swallow origin crystals, but he had never seen a chick that could. "Ningyu, will Lil Red be alright?" Lu Wei asked worriedly. "Gah, gah." The dragon eagle chick let out 2 gah sounds as if it was very satisfied with this name. The corner of his mouth twitched a few times. Lil Red. Only Lu Wei could think of this name. When the dragon eagle chick grew up, it would probably regret it because it was a male. Don't worry. I've read in a book that this kind of chick is fine after swallowing origin crystals. Once they become adults, they often eat the cores of other demonic beasts. Ningyu handed another fragment to the dragon eagle chick and said, "A demonic beast's core contains a lot of origin qi, no less than the origin crystal fragments I fed it." That's good, that's good." Patting her ample chest, Lu Wei let out a long sigh. It was obvious that she had already developed feelings for the dragon eagle chick and had become one with it. Shrugging, Ningyu was a bit speechless. There was a saying that a woman's heart was like a needle at the bottom of the sea, unfathomable and unfathomable. Let's hurry up and set off. I've already recovered a bit, but I'm afraid that the bloodthirsty wild eagle will come back if we wait any longer, Ningyu said after a cyclone had recovered a third of its origin qi. "Ningyu, this chick, should we?" Xie Linxian gestured at his neck as he spoke, his meaning self-evident. "Xie Linxian, what are you going to do to my Lil Red?" Lu Wei was a bit angry as she scolded. "Lil Red didn't offend you. Why are you being so cruel?" Xie Linxian felt a bit helpless. In truth, he was worried that Lil Red would attract other demonic beasts. They weren't in peak condition right now, and if they encountered a dozen or so third-rank demonic beasts, the consequences would be unthinkable. "Brother Xie, it's fine. It shouldn't attract other demonic beasts," Ningyu said, shaking his head at Xie Linxian. The reason why Ningyu was so sure was that he had separated a wisp of his soul power and wrapped it around the little red packet. By doing so, other demonic beasts wouldn't be able to detect its aura. Xia Linxian had no choice but to set off dubiously towards the outer valley of Pill Dragon Valley. Wu Yong and Yun Chong followed closely behind Xia Linxian. As for Ningyu, he followed beside Lu Wei. He had to keep an eye on Lil Red at all times to prevent its aura from leaking and attracting other powerful demonic beast. In the dense forest of towering trees, there was an open space filled with withered leaves. At this moment, on this open space, a dozen or so young cultivators were standing back to back, huddled together. Their clothes were ragged, and they were more or less severely injured. Some of them had a broken arm, while others were missing a leg. Surrounding them were dozens of black-clothed martial artists. These black-clothed martial artists were all at the peak of the post-liminary realm. Although these black-clothed martial artists were all at the peak of the post-liminary realm, the gazes of these young cultivators weren't focused on them. Instead, they were fixated on an old man who stood at the head of the black-clothed martial artists. The old man's aura was restrained. As he inhaled and exhaled, the air around him seemed to vibrate. This state indicated that the old man's cultivation had reached the peak of the post-liminary realm. Chapter 63. A dozen students from Danwu College. Not bad, not bad. The corner of the black-clothed old man's mouth curled up as his gaze swept across the crowd like a hunting dog staring at its prey. He said, "Now I'll give you a chance to live. Whoever can withstand one of my attacks will be allowed to leave." Hearing the black-clothed old man's words, a few of the early-stage Xiantian realm cultivators revealed a joyful expression. However, their expressions quickly turned gloomy. Although the chance to withstand one of the black-clothed old man's attacks seemed very high, it was actually very slim. The black-clothed old man was at the peak of the Xiantian realm. Not to mention early-stage Xiantian realm cultivators, even late-stage Xiantian realm cultivators might not be able to withstand one of his attacks. "Let me." Suddenly, a young man in his 20s stepped forward and shouted, "I'll take one of your attacks." Looking at the young man, the black-clothed old man shook his head and said, "Peak Hutian realm cultivation, I don't even need 10% of my strength to deal with you." Whoosh. As soon as he finished speaking, the black-clothed old man's feet touched the ground and he instantly dashed forward. Bang! In the next moment, there was a loud bang and the young man's body was like a kite with a broken string. He fell straight to the ground. Poochie. A mouthful of blood sprayed out and the young man died on the spot. Hua. The death of the young man caused the expressions of the other Danwu College students to change dramatically. Their eyes were filled with fear and despair. The black-clothed old man clapped his hands and said, "How boring. I didn't even use any strength and he already fell. Who's next?" This time, none of the remaining people dared to make a move. After all, they had just been taught a bloody lesson. No one wanted to face the god of death so early. A moment later, a man in light blue clothes said, "You guys besieged the students of Danwu College. Aren't you afraid that the dean's elder will come and fight you?" "Fight me." The black-clothed old man pointed at his nose and laughed wildly. "To tell you the truth, your elder has already been besieged by the upper echelons of the corpse sect. His life or death is unknown. You want them to come and save you?" Wishful thinking. The man in blue felt a chill in his heart. He had been hoping that the academy elders would come to his rescue, but now it seemed that he had been thinking too much. The man's name was Han Feng, and he was the only old student from Danwu College who had come out for training. His strength had reached the peak of the middle stage of the Xiantian realm. Before coming here, the elders of the academy had instructed him to protect the students of the academy. Now that such a huge change had occurred, he was also very distressed. Han Feng took a step forward and said, "How about we make a deal? As long as I can withstand one of your attacks, you'll let go of a student from Danwu College." The black-clothed elder raised his eyebrows and stared at Han Feng with interest. Peak of Xiantian middle stage. He broke through to the peak of Xiantian middle stage at such a young age. It seems like the decision made by the sect's higher-ups was right. The black-robed old man was secretly shocked because Han Feng was almost 21 years old, and his cultivation had already broken through to the peak of the middle-stage Xiantian realm, only one step away from the late-stage Xiantian realm. Even in the Great Xia Kingdom's corpse sect, this kind of talent would be heavily nurtured. Brother Han Feng, you mustn't. Yeah, you're no match for him. Where there is life, there is hope. Han Feng's face darkened, and he said coldly, all of you, shut up. I'm your big brother, your senior. I have the obligation and responsibility to protect your safety. Since you want to play, then I'll play with you. The black-clothed elder waved his hand, and suddenly, 20 Peak Hutian Realm warriors walked out from behind him. Pointing at the 20 Peak Hutian Realm warriors, the black-clothed elder said, I won't fight with you. If you can withstand their siege for half an hour, I'll let one student go. Hold on for an hour, and I'll let 2 students go until they're all gone. Xiu. Han Feng didn't speak any nonsense. His figure flashed, and he landed in the middle of the 20 Peak Hutian Realm warriors. After landing on the battlefield, Han Feng seemed to have changed into a different person. His eyes were sharp, and he repeatedly pointed his fingers. Streaks of cold light swept out from his fingertips. Puff, puff, puff. The muffled sounds of flesh exploding continuously resounded in this area. These sounds were like the scythe of the Grim Reaper. Every time these sounds rang out, a Peak Hutian Realm black-clothed martial artist would fall to the ground, his eyes dim and lifeless. The sudden and unexpected turn of events caused everyone, including the black-clothed old man, to be stunned. Especially the black-clothed elder. He didn't expect Han Feng to be so strong. It should be known that Han Feng had been seriously injured before, and his Yuan Qi was almost depleted. Yet, he still had such combat strength. This kind of strength was really terrifying. Although Han Feng had displayed a strong combat strength at the beginning, forcing the black-clothed elder to retreat, as time went on, he gradually became physically exhausted. Every time he attacked, it consumed a lot of his energy. If he hadn't intimidated the black-clothed elder at the beginning, he probably wouldn't have been able to hold on. Boring. After watching for a while, the black-clothed elder no longer paid attention to Han Feng. In his opinion, Han Feng was already dead. Swish. Suddenly, the black-clothed elder saw a young man in the middle of the crowd, and his face darkened. With cold eyes, the black-clothed elder instantly sped up. Yuan Qi was released from his body, and dozens of Danwu College students were shaken away. In the middle, there was a man in his 20s lying on the ground. His right leg was obviously broken. After staring at the man for a while, the black-clothed elder asked, "What's your name?" Ning Xian's heart sank, but he still answered honestly, "Ning Xian." "Ning Xian? What's your relationship with Ning Yu?" The black-clothed elder raised his eyebrows and asked again. "Ning Yu is my younger brother," Ning Xian said. The black-clothed elder's eyes turned cold, and he ordered the dozens of peak post-liminary realm martial artists behind him, except for Ning Xian, kill everyone else. The moment the word kill fell, the martial artists behind the black-clothed elder instantly rushed out, like hungry dogs pouncing on food, toward the Danwu College students. Ah. These Danwu College students were already seriously injured. How could they resist the attack of the black-clothed martial artists? Not long after, there were 7 or 8 corpses lying on the ground. Damn it! In the distance, Han Feng cursed. He forced the 2 martial artists in front of him to retreat, and rushed back to help. "There's no point in keeping you alive now, so you can die." Han Feng had just forced the 2 martial artists to retreat when he felt a cold light coming toward his chest. Then, he felt a great pain in his chest. His vision went black, and he lost consciousness. "Old fart, even if I become a malicious spirit, I will come back to seek revenge. The elders of Danwu College will not let you off. RRR." Chapter 64. Roar. In the depths of the Magic Beast mountain range, an earth-shattering roar reverberated, intimidating all the demonic beasts in the vicinity into scattering. Immediately, a giant King Kong tiger roared, its blood-red eyes emitting a bloodthirsty light. Its 4 hooves stomped on the ground, and it leaped, attacking a few martial artists not far away. King Kong tigers were mid-stage rank 3 demonic beasts, with thick skin and powerful strength. A berserk King Kong tiger could contend with a late-stage innate martial artist. Opposite the King Kong tiger, two young martial artists looked solemn. "You guys back off." Xia Linxian let out a low bellow, waving the giant sword in his hand and pouncing at the King Kong tiger. The giant sword chopped at the King Kong tiger's neck, but it actually failed to cut it in half. "Damn it!" Xia Linxian cursed inwardly, and immediately pulled some distance away from the King Kong tiger. "Brother Xia, help me stall the King Kong tiger for 3 minutes. Ningyu's face was gloomy. He knew that the situation was dire. If he could not rush to the outer valley of Elixir Dragon Valley as soon as possible, Ningxian might meet with misfortune. And the King Kong tiger was a mid-stage rank 3 demonic beast, with powerful strength. It would not be so easy to defeat it. The only thing he could do now was to take a risk and gamble. Understood. Xia Linxian glanced at Ningyu, and the aura around his body suddenly increased, and he rushed at the King Kong tiger again. Swoosh, swoosh. Beside him, Wu Yong and Yun Qiong also joined the battle. Although their cultivation was only at the peak of early-stage innate, it was still possible for them to stall for half a minute. Ningyu took a deep breath, formed a seal with both hands, and displayed the essence-gathering hand seal. Buzz. Following the display of the essence-gathering hand seal, the surrounding Yuan Qi seemed to be attracted, and they all wrapped around Ningyu's palm. At the same time, Ningyu's mind moved, and the Yuan Qi in the two cyclones gushed out crazily, all converging at his right wrist. Bang! Bang! 1 minute later, Wu Yong and Yun Qiong were repelled, and they suffered heavy injuries. Poochie. 2 minutes later, Xia Linxian vomited a mouthful of blood, and he fell to one knee, panting heavily. Damn it! On the 3rd minute, Lu Wei put Little Red on the ground, her almond-shaped eyebrows knitted together. She rose from the ground and was about to attack. Hiss. At this moment, Ningyu's eyes narrowed. Violent Yuan Qi gathered on his palm, emitting a hissing sound. Netherworld Samsara Palm, second move, lonely name. As Ningyu bellowed, a nearly solid palm imprint blasted towards the King Kong tiger's head like a meteor. The substantial palm print collided with the Vajra tiger's hard body, producing a terrifying Yuan Qi wave that scattered in the air. After the surrounding trees were swept by the essence Qi wave, they trembled incessantly. Some of the smaller trees were even uprooted. Kacha. The abnormally hard Vajra tiger leather armor didn't last long under Ningyu's tangible palm print. With the sound of bones breaking, the Vajra tiger's chest was struck by the fierce palm print, and its entire body was sent flying several feet away. Bang! Following that, a muffled sound was heard. A tangible palm print swept out from the Vajra tiger's chest, forcibly piercing through its hard chest. Puff! Fresh blood splattered. At this moment, the mid-stage Tier 3 demonic beast, the Vajra tiger, was killed by Ningyu with one palm. Xia Linxian and the rest looked at the Vajra tiger that was long dead, then looked at Ningyu who was standing in place. Their mouths were slightly agape, all dumbfounded. Gulp! After a moment, Xia Linxian and the rest reacted. They looked at Ningyu like they were looking at a monster. Killing a mid-stage Tier 3 demonic beast with one palm. Was he still human? Furthermore, a few hours ago, Ningyu had just made a move to kill a few bloodthirsty wild eagles and expended a lot of energy. How could he still unleash such a powerful attack now? Just where were his limits? Whoosh! Right at this moment, Little Red suddenly scurried out from Lu Wei's arms and ran to the Vajra tiger's head. Using its sharp claws, it extracted the Vajra tiger's inner core. After extracting the inner core, Little Red swallowed it into its stomach. Following that, it patted its stomach like a human and lay down in Lu Wei's arms to sleep. Full speed ahead. Glancing at Little Red, Ningyu forcefully swallowed the fishy taste in his throat. Then, he rose from the ground and rushed towards the outer valley of Elixir Dragon Valley. Behind him, Xia Linxian and the rest were not slow at all. As Ningyu and the rest were moving at full speed and did not encounter any demonic beasts along the way, they passed through the magical beast mountain range and entered the outer valley of Elixir Dragon Valley a day later. Get down. Suddenly, Ningyu's expression changed and he quickly pushed Lu Wei to the ground. Just as Lu Wei was about to lose her temper, Ningyu quickly covered her mouth with one hand and pointed to the distance with the other. He whispered, "Don't speak." Lu Wei understood and immediately quieted down. Whoosh! Moments later, several figures appeared in their vision. Ning Xian, Kong Yu. Seeing the two familiar faces at the front, Ningyu's expression changed and he could not help but clench his fists. Because he saw that Ning Xian's right leg was obviously broken. Moreover, Ning Xian's breath was weak as if he could die at any moment. Who is that man? Could he be a genius from Danwu College? Glancing over, Ningyu was surprised to see the young man beside Ning Xian. He realized that the young man's cultivation had reached the middle stage of the Carnate Realm. Han Feng. Ningyu did not know Han Feng, but Yun Chong did. After all, they were both students from Danwu College and Han Feng was his senior. It's Han Feng. How did he get caught? Where are the other students? At this moment, a series of questions flashed across Yun Chong's mind. He could not understand why Han Feng was caught. At this time, Han Feng should be with the other students. Could it be? Thinking of this, Yun Chong's expression darkened. A bad feeling arose in his heart. At this moment, an old man in black walked out from the crowd. It's him. Seeing the old man in black, Ningyu's heart trembled because he knew the old man in black. He was the mysterious man who attacked him in the Ning family, the barbarian corpse king. Ningyu, do you know him? Xia Linxian asked with a frown. The barbarian corpse king, a member of the corpse sect. After pondering for a moment, Ningyu slowly said. Originally, Ningyu did not want to tell them the identity of the barbarian corpse king, but considering that what he was going to do next might be crazy, he decided to tell them in advance. Hiss. Sure enough, hearing the 3 words corpse sect, even Xia Linxian, who was very strong, could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. With his special perception of Yuan Qi, Xia Linxian could already guess that the barbarian corpse king's cultivation was at the peak of the Carnate Realm, only half a step away from breaking through to the true martial realm. Although his cultivation had reached the peak of the middle stage of the Carnate Realm, in the face of a peak of the Carnate Realm martial artist, he would be defeated in one move. The two were simply not on the same level. Moreover, he found that there were no less than 30 or 40 peak of the post-liminary realm martial artists around him. Just these martial artists alone were enough to make him suffer. He was different from Ningyu. Ningyu's absorption of Yuan Qi was extremely fast. On the way here, he had already completely replenished the Yuan Qi in his cyclone and was now in peak condition. Chapter 65. I didn't expect a mere middle innate realm warrior to be able to withstand my full power attack and not die. There must be some secret. I need to bring him back to study. Looking at Han Feng, the barbarian corpse king's lips curled up into an evil smile. Originally, he thought that Han Feng would be killed in one move. Who would have thought that when he wanted to leave, Han Feng would crawl back up like a cockroach? At this moment, the barbarian corpse king became interested and decided to bring Han Feng along. After all, one more person would not affect him. She's quite pretty. If I didn't have something important to do, I would really like to enjoy her now. Staring at Kong Yu, the barbarian corpse king revealed a lewd smile. Elder, why did you leave the 3 of them? Next to the barbarian corpse king, a middle innate realm warrior in black clothes frowned and said, the mission we received was to kill all the students sent out by Danwu College this time. Leave none alive. Me. Tai Feng, do I need you to judge my actions? With a cold snort, the barbarian corpse king's powerful aura pressed down on Tai Feng and said gloomily, don't ask what you shouldn't ask. Yes, yes. Being suppressed by the barbarian corpse king's aura, Tai Feng hurriedly nodded. Ningyu, as long as you dare to come, I will definitely make you suffer. The corner of the barbarian corpse king's mouth curled up. This time, I must obtain a soul attack spell. Then, the barbarian corpse king asked, how are the corpses? Tai Feng said cautiously, I have already sprinkled corpse yin powder on the corpses. I believe those corpses have already turned into thick water. Good, very good. You are still somewhat useful. Nodding, the barbarian corpse king waved his hand and said, Take a dozen people and spread the news that Ningyu has been captured by us and will be executed here in a few days." Hearing this, Tai Feng hurriedly led a dozen warriors in black clothes and ran away. Swoosh! In the distance, as he watched Tai Feng and the others leave, Ningyu spoke in a low voice, "Everyone, let's part ways here." Lu Wei was slightly stunned when she heard Ningyu's words, and then she gritted her teeth and said, "Ningyu, your problem is my problem. Tell me, how can I help?" Ningyu did not say anything. Instead, his gaze swept across Xia Linxian and the others. Being stared at by Ningyu, Xia Linxian gritted his teeth and said, "I was hired by Snow Domain Pavilion to protect Miss Lu. I must follow her no matter what she does." Wu Yong raised his hand and said, "You saved my life. I will go through water and tread on fire for you." As for Yun Qiong, he was very conflicted. He didn't want to get involved. After all, the other party was an expert from the corpse sect. However, he had no other choice but to firmly tie himself to the same boat as Ningyu and the others. Otherwise, if Ningyu got angry, he would not be able to bear the consequences. Ningyu took a deep look at everyone and said, "I will lure the barbarian corpse king away. As for you, you will rescue my big brother and the others. I know this matter is difficult for you. If you are not willing, I will not force you. Ningyu, you can rest assured. I am willing to make a heavenly oath. If I violate it, let the heavens strike me to death." Wu Yong said, "I will also make a heavenly oath." Yun Qiong said, "Me too." Xia Linxian and Lu Wei said. Xiao Hong also raised her little paw, looking a bit cute. Ningyu was not a stingy person. Since Lu Wei and the others were willing to help him, he would not let them suffer a loss. He reached into his bosom and took out a small jade bottle. Bang! After opening the jade bottle, Ningyu poured out 4 crystal-clear elixirs. Supreme Essence Condensing Elixirs. Seeing the elixirs in Ningyu's hand, Xia Linxian immediately cried out. This time, he came to protect Lu Wei, and the reward was a Supreme Essence Condensing Elixir. However, the Snow Domain Pavilion Master had not paid him yet. Only when Lu Wei returned to Profound Sky City would he be paid. He had also seen that Supreme Essence Condensing Elixir before. Compared to the elixirs in Ningyu's hand, one was like heaven and the other was on earth. They could not be mentioned in the same breath. Beside him, Wu Yong and Yun Qiong's faces were burning with passion. They even wanted to snatch it. Could it be that he refined these essence-condensing elixirs? Looking at Ningyu, Lu Wei was a little shocked. A few days ago, Ningyu had just bought 5 sets of herbs for refining essence-condensing elixirs from Snow Domain Pavilion. Now, he took out 4 supreme essence-condensing elixirs. She could not help but be suspicious. Shoo, 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 shoo. With a flick of his finger, Ningyu handed the 4 essence-condensing elixirs to Xia Linxian and the other 3. "These are supreme essence-condensing elixirs. My master left them for me. Since you are willing to help me, I will not let you die in vain." Ningyu said in a deep voice, "Your cultivation is at the peak of your stage. With these supreme essence-condensing elixirs, you can try to break through to a higher stage. Lu Wei, you are now at the peak of the Hutian realm. It is not suitable for you to refine the essence-condensing elixirs. Help me protect them and speed up their refining speed." Xia Linxian and the others did not say any nonsense. They all sat down cross-legged and threw the supreme essence-condensing elixirs into their mouths. In the next moment, Xia Linxian and the others felt a huge amount of energy spreading in their stomachs. They hurriedly revolved their mental cultivation method to cultivate. Fortunately, Xia Linxian and the others were warriors of the Xiantian realm. Their physiques were strong, and they could withstand the power of the supreme essence-condensing elixirs. Compared to ordinary essence-condensing elixirs, the supreme essence-condensing elixirs refined by Ningyu were milder and easier to refine and absorb. Catcher. In the evening, Xia Linxian's eyes lit up with joy. The origin qi in his whirlpool reached its limit and expanded again. Late stage of the Xiantian realm. At this moment, Xia Linxian had broken through to the late stage of the Xiantian realm. His strength had increased by several times. Catcher, catcher. After another hour, Wu Yong and Yun Chong both stood up with joy on their faces. Middle stage of the Xiantian realm. They were originally at the peak of the early stage of the Xiantian realm. With the help of the supreme essence condensing elixirs, it was natural for them to break through to the middle stage of the Xiantian realm. Moreover, there was still the remaining power of the supreme essence condensing elixirs in their bodies. They believed that after refining it, they could break through to the peak of the middle stage of the Xiantian realm. They might even be able to break through to the late stage of the Xiantian realm. Who? After Xia Linxian and the others broke through, Ningyu let out a long breath. During the day, the corpse sect had lost more than a dozen peak Hutian realm warriors and a middle stage Xiantian realm warrior. As long as he lured the barbarian corpse king away, with the current strength of Xia Linxian and the others, saving Ning Xian would be a piece of cake. Ningyu, why don't we wait for old Mo to come? You're not a match for the barbarian corpse king. Lu Wei said worriedly. Don't worry. I'm just luring the barbarian corpse king away. I'm not going to fight it to the death. With a faint smile, Ningyu said, when the time comes, we'll meet at the entrance of the Pill Dragon Valley. If you don't see me in 3 days, you can go ahead and enter the Pill Dragon Valley. But Lu Wei's mouth slightly opened. She wanted to say something, but when she saw the look in Ningyu's eyes, she didn't say anything in the end. Chapter 66. Swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. In the forest, Ningyu's speed was extremely fast, and he appeared in front of the barbarian corpse king in the blink of an eye. He waved the azure cloud sword in his hand, and 3 sword rays flew out. The barbarian corpse king's expression changed slightly when he felt the strong wind. He then flicked his finger, and 3 sword rays shot out from his sleeve. Kai kai kai. In the next instant, the 3 sword rays were forcefully blocked, unable to advance any further. Whoosh. At the same time, Ningyu landed steadily in front of the barbarian corpse king. Ningyu. The barbarian corpse king was slightly startled when he saw the young man standing in front of him. He then laughed loudly. Ha ha ha, you really came by without any effort. I was just about to look for you, but you delivered yourself to me. Barbarian corpse king, I know you want to deal with me. Let Ning Xian go. Ningyu's expression was gloomy as he stared at the barbarian corpse king. It's not impossible to let Ning Xian go. The barbarian corpse king rolled his eyes and said, but you have to promise me something. Ningyu raised his eyebrows and said calmly, what is it? The barbarian corpse king said with a smile, how about using the same move that you used on me in the Ning family? Ningyu's expression changed slightly when he heard the barbarian corpse king's words. A bad premonition arose in his heart. Looks like he knows that I used a soul attack spell. Ningyu was not stupid. He understood the barbarian corpse king's intention after thinking for a while. When he used a soul attack spell against the barbarian corpse king in the Ning family, he must have been discovered by the barbarian corpse king. Now the barbarian corpse king was trying to capture Ning Xian to lure him out and force him to reveal the soul attack spell. Thinking of this, Ningyu said coldly, barbarian corpse king, let's fight somewhere else. As soon as he finished speaking, Ningyu pushed off the ground with the tip of his toes, raised his speed to the limit, and flew into the distance. How could the barbarian corpse king not know what Ningyu was thinking, but he did not care. In his opinion, the further Ningyu went, the better. By the time he forced out the soul attack technique, no one would have known that he would be able to keep the soul attack technique to himself. Let's attack. In the distance, after the barbarian corpse king left for a period of time, Xia Linxian, Wu Yong, and the others immediately attacked. Their cultivation had increased by a level, and their strength had greatly increased. Dealing with dozens of peak Hutian warriors was not a problem at all. In about half an hour, Xia Linxian and the others had killed all the hidden peak Hutian warriors and rescued Ning Xian, Kongyu, and the others. Let's go. After saving Ning Xian, Xia Linxian decisively led Ning Xian and the rest towards the inner valley of Pill Dragon Valley. Barbarian Corpse King, I have already used a secret technique to contact my master. When my master arrives, it will be the day of your death. Ningyu's speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, he disappeared from the Barbarian Corpse King's sight. However, His voice still echoed in the air. Hihi, you want to run away from me? Just as Ningyu disappeared, the barbarian corpse king smiled faintly. Immediately, its ghostly figure dashed out quickly. Even the ground began to shake. No, if this goes on, the barbarian corpse king will catch up to me sooner or later. Looking back at the approaching barbarian corpse king, Ningyu's expression was a little ugly. He was very worried. Although he had raised his speed to the limit and even burned his soul power to increase his speed, he was still somewhat powerless against the barbarian corpse king, who was at the innate perfected realm. At this speed, the barbarian corpse king would catch up to him in less than half an hour. Shio. After about half an hour, when Ningyu felt a strong wind coming from behind him, his body trembled and he quickly moved to the side. However, just as he moved to the side, a cold light passed by his head. It was only a millimeter away from hitting his head. Hua. Since the barbarian corpse king had caught up to him, Ningyu simply stopped. According to his judgment, Xia Linxian and the others should have rescued Ning Xian. Buzz. Just as Ningyu stopped, the barbarian corpse king blasted out another powerful attack towards him. The Yuan Qi in the cyclone surged and gathered on his wrist. Ningyu pushed out his palm. Netherworld Samsara palm, second style, lonely name, bang. The illusory palm print collided with the barbarian corpse king's attack, instantly causing a muffled sound. Following which, violent Yuan Qi ripples spread out in this area and only dissipated after a while. Halfway up the mountain, Ningyu stood in the same place. His pupils constricted and his face was slightly gloomy. Not far in front of him, the barbarian corpse king stared at him with undisguised joy on his face. This is the feeling. It is indeed a soul attack spell. The corner of the barbarian corpse king's mouth curled up and he said coldly, Ningyu, hand over the soul attack spell and I will leave your corpse intact. The barbarian corpse king was very clear that if Ningyu's cultivation was the same as his, then he would not have been able to block that move. The faint soul attack mixed in the palm print made his heart tremble. If he was not prepared, he would have been hit by the attack. Barbarian corpse king, if you want the soul attack spell, let's see if you have the ability to do so. Ningyu snorted coldly. Good, very good. Since you are not willing to hand it over, I can only forcefully plunder your memories. The barbarian corpse king's face was ferocious. The Yuan Qi in his body instantly surged and attacked Ningyu with lightning speed. His palm was bent like an eagle's claw, extremely ruthless. Seeing this, Ningyu did not dare to be careless. He retreated and drew out the azure cloud sword. With a flick of his wrist, the azure cloud sword flew out of his hand and attacked the barbarian corpse king. Crack! The azure cloud sword and the barbarian corpse king's sharp claws collided and made a crisp sound. Then, it broke into two halves. Seeing the azure cloud sword break, Ningyu's face was extremely gloomy, but there was nothing he could do. He was very clear that the azure cloud sword could not withstand the powerful force of the supreme nine purities sword art. It was not easy for it to last until now. This soul attack spell of yours is also not bad. I want it too. The corner of the barbarian corpse king's mouth curled up and he accelerated again. The Yuan Qi in his body gathered on his wrist and he ruthlessly chopped at Ningyu's head. Not good. Feeling the barbarian corpse king's powerful attack, Ningyu's expression changed greatly and he could not help but retreat. At this moment, the barbarian corpse king used his full strength and did not hold back at all. He had already given up on the idea of forcing the soul attack spell out of Ningyu's mouth. Instead, he wanted to kill Ningyu by force and then use a secret technique to forcefully plunder his memories. Essence gathering hand seal. Both his hands formed a seal and the essence gathering hand seal was executed to the extreme. The Yuan Qi in the surroundings frantically flew towards Ningyu. The Yuan Qi in the two cyclones poured out without any reservation and gathered on Ningyu's right palm. Still not enough. Gritting his teeth, Ningyu took out the remaining two essence condensing pills and swallowed them. Following that, the spirit transformation spell circulated crazily and endless Yuan Qi rushed out from the high-grade Yuan crystals. Following the guidance of the spirit transformation spell, all of it was transferred to Ningyu's right palm. Netherworld Samsara palm, second move. The powerful yuan qi fluctuation from his wrist caused Ningyu's expression to soften slightly. In the next instant, he formed a seal with his right hand and instantly pushed it out. Ji Yu Ming. Chapter 67. At this moment, the heaven and earth yuan qi surged. The giant palm flew across the sky and arrived in front of the barbarian corpse king in an instant. It enlarged in the barbarian corpse king's eyes and clashed violently with his fist under his shocked gaze. Bang! At the moment of impact, the surrounding ground even shook. Majestic energy poured out completely at this moment, constantly spreading in all directions. The terrifying ripples became more and more intense. The surrounding ground had already split open into a giant crack. It was extremely terrifying. Swoosh! Swoosh! Almost at the same time, two figures retreated rapidly and only managed to stabilize themselves after retreating several feet away. Poochie! With a sweet taste in his throat, Ningyu spat out a mouthful of dark red blood. His face was pale and bloodless. Ningyu, you have completely infuriated me. I will tear you apart. The barbarian corpse king clenched his fists tightly. His deep voice was filled with dense killing intent as it reverberated in the area. Although this was what he said, the barbarian corpse king was extremely shocked, extremely shocked. He did not expect that Ningyu's full force attack would be so powerful that it could be evenly matched with him. If he had not been prepared, he would have been injured by the powerful pressure on his soul. Even so, he felt that his fist was extremely sore and could not exert 100% of his strength. Blood-killing palm. A dense chill continuously burst out from the barbarian corpse king's eyes. In the next moment, the monstrous blood-colored yuan qi gradually gathered and finally, under Ningyu's shocked gaze, quickly condensed into a giant blood-colored palm. Following the barbarian corpse king's angry roar, the giant blood-colored palm whizzed out and completely enveloped Ningyu. Not good. Feeling the surrounding blood-colored palm enveloping him, Ningyu's face darkened. Without saying a word, he rose from the ground and desperately burned his soul power as he flew into the distance. Ningyu had used all his strength in that move just now. Right now, there was not even a trace of yuan qi in his qi whirlpool. Not to mention the barbarian corpse king, even an ordinary body-tempering stage martial artist could kill him. Fortunately, his soul power was extremely strong, reaching peak rank 3. At this time, he used a secret technique to burn his soul power, raising his speed to the limit. What? The barbarian corpse king did not expect that Ningyu could still burst forth with such a powerful speed, and was momentarily stunned. However, just as the barbarian corpse king was in a daze, Ningyu had already disappeared. Damn it! Cursing inwardly, the barbarian corpse king immediately set off, chasing after Ningyu. Shio! Shio! In the forest, two figures, one in front and one behind, were flying at high speed. However, the distance between the two figures was getting shorter and shorter. I need to find a place to recover. Turning his head back to look at the barbarian corpse king that was rapidly approaching, Ningyu's heart sank, and he released his powerful soul force. There's a cave over there. Suddenly, Ningyu's face lit up with joy. He sped up again and ran toward the cave. Swoosh! In front of the cave, Ningyu did not stop at all. With a burst of speed, he rushed in. Ningyu could rush into the cave without any hesitation, but the barbarian corpse king did not do so. He stood in front of the cave with a slight frown. The reason why the barbarian corpse king did not enter the cave immediately was because Ningyu was in the dark, and he was in the light. If Ningyu launched a sneak attack, wouldn't he be seeking his own death? After all, Ningyu's move just now had left a shadow in his heart. Ningyu, I advise you to come out obediently. I promise you, as long as you come out, I will definitely spare your life. After pondering for a moment, the barbarian corpse king shouted at the cave. Barbarian corpse king, do you think I'm a fool? If you have the ability, come in. Ningyu's voice came from the cave, carrying a hint of provocation. Hearing this, the barbarian corpse king's eyes turned extremely gloomy. He moved his feet, wanting to rush into the cave. However, just as his right foot stepped into the cave, he retreated. With a cold laugh, the barbarian corpse king said, I will wait here. I don't believe that you will not come out in this lifetime." As he spoke, the barbarian corpse king sat down and guarded the cave. Looking at this posture, he would not give up until Ningyu came out. Inside the cave, Ningyu separated a strand of soul force to constantly pay attention to the barbarian corpse king's movements. After confirming that the barbarian corpse king would not enter the cave for a short period of time, he sat cross-legged, took out a high-grade origin crystal, and circulated the spirit transformation art to absorb it. Because he had used all his strength in that move just now, he had exhausted all the origin chi in his body. Right now, there was not a bit of origin chi in Ningyu's body. As the spirit transformation art circulated, strands of origin chi were drawn into the whirlpool in Ningyu's sea of consciousness. Crack. When the two high-grade origin crystals shattered, the origin chi in one of Ningyu's whirlpools was completely replenished. After another few hours, the other whirlpool's origin chi was also replenished. There is still some origin condensing pills medicinal energy left in my body. I should take this opportunity to cultivate properly. In order to resist the barbarian corpse king's all-out attack, Ningyu swallowed the remaining 2 origin condensing pills. The huge amount of medicinal energy had not been completely refined. Now that there was a chance, Ningyu quickly circulated the spirit transformation art and refined the huge amount of medicinal energy in his body. Hiss. As the medicinal energy of the origin condensing pill was refined, strands of energy flowed into the whirlpool. Suppress it for me. Feeling that the whirlpool was about to expand, Ningyu's soul force instantly entered his sea of consciousness and frantically suppressed the whirlpool. Originally, the amount of origin chi in one of Ningyu's whirlpools was equivalent to an early-stage Xiantian martial artist. After this suppression, the amount of origin chi in one whirlpool was comparable to a middle-stage Xiantian martial artist. In other words, the amount of origin chi in Ningyu's body was equivalent to the sum of 2 middle-stage Xiantian martial artists. Bang! Bang! Although Ningyu used his soul force to suppress the whirlpool, as the medicinal energy of the origin condensing pill continued to be refined, he finally could not suppress it anymore. 2 muffled sounds rang out, and the 2 whirlpools doubled in size. Peak Hutian Realm. At this moment, Ningyu broke through the late-stage Hutian Realm and reached the peak Hutian Realm. As the whirlpool doubled in size, the amount of origin chi it could contain also increased. Even after refining all the medicinal energy of the origin condensing pill, it was only enough to fill one whirlpool. Shua. With a flick of his wrist, Ningyu once again took out a high-grade origin crystal and circulated the spirit transformation art to absorb it. After consuming a few more high-grade origin crystals, Ningyu finally filled the other whirlpool. Not bad, not bad. Feeling the intensity of the origin chi in the whirlpool, Ningyu revealed a happy expression. When he was in the late-stage Hutian realm, the amount of origin chi in one whirlpool was equivalent to a middle-stage Xiantian martial artist. Now that he had advanced to the peak Hutian realm, the amount of origin chi in one whirlpool was comparable to a late-stage Xiantian martial artist. In other words, if he were to face Song Fei now, Ningyu would be able to defeat him in one move. Although his strength had increased by a lot, when he thought of the barbarian corpse king outside the cave, his face became somewhat gloomy. The barbarian corpse king was like a stone, pressing down on his heart, making him feel like he could not breathe. According to Ningyu's judgment, even if he advanced to the peak Hutian realm and his strength increased by several times, he would still not be a match for the barbarian corpse king. After all, the barbarian corpse king was a Xiantian full circle, half a step into the true martial realm, and its strength was very strong. This won't do. I can't waste my time here. I have to find a way to leave. The barbarian corpse king was still guarding the cave entrance. It was basically impossible to leave from the cave entrance. Chapter 68. Before proceeding, Ningyu released his soul perception to determine the situation inside the cave. What's going on? Frowning, Ningyu's soul perception had just advanced 1,000 meters when it encountered an obstacle and was unable to advance any further. According to his soul perception, the 1,000 meters ahead of him was starting to narrow and could only accommodate 2 people side by side. Moreover, there seemed to be a barrier at the narrowing area, causing Ningyu's soul perception to be unable to advance any further. Forget it, let's go in first. Thinking of the barbarian corpse king outside the cave, Ningyu gritted his teeth and walked towards the depths of the cave. Not long later, he arrived at the narrow entrance. Just as he stepped into the narrow passage, Ningyu felt a wave of cold air. The deeper he went, the heavier the cold air became. Helpless, Ningyu could only release his Yuan Qi and form a Yuan Qi barrier around his body. With the Yuan Qi barrier protecting his body, the cold air immediately disappeared. After walking for about 15 minutes, Ningyu arrived at the end of the cave. There's no way out. Standing on the spot, looking at the surrounding stone walls, Ningyu frowned. Because in front of him was an empty piece of land. In the middle of it, there was a protruding stone with a few transparent crystals embedded in it. It's an ice crystal. Seeing the crystals on the stone, Ningyu's face lit up, as if he had a sudden realization. No wonder my soul perception couldn't advance any further after entering the narrow passage. So there's an ice crystal here. Ice crystal was a type of extremely cold crystal. It was said that it was produced in the depths of the sea and could emit a constant stream of cold air. To an ordinary martial artist, the ice crystal was not a good thing because it could suppress soul perception. In the area covered by the ice crystal, soul perception would be greatly restricted and would not be able to unleash its power. But to an alchemist, especially one like Ningyu who had the memories of a peak 9th tier alchemist, it was a treasure that couldn't be bought with money, because the ice crystal could be used to refine two types of elixirs. Cold crystal pill. Cold crystal pill. The cold crystal pill was a 5th grade pill that could strengthen one's soul force. Crystal jade dan, a 7th grade dan. It was the best dan to repair soul force injuries. Whether it was strengthening one's soul force or repairing damaged soul force, it was extremely precious to an alchemist. On the path of alchemy, if one's soul force wasn't strong enough, then even if one's martial arts cultivation was high, it would still be impossible to refine high-level alchemy pills. At this time, with the grade 5 cold crystal pill, one could temporarily increase their soul force and raise their soul force to the grade 5 level. As for the 7th grade crystal jade pill, it could repair the damage suffered by the soul. No matter how much damage the soul force suffered, as long as there was still a strand of soul force left, then the 7th grade crystal jade pill could completely heal it. Although possessing the cold ice crystal did not mean that he possessed the cold crystal pill and the crystal jade pill, Ningyu still felt very happy. He walked in front of the protruding stone, wrapped his hands in essence qi, and carefully removed the cold ice crystal. Crack. However, as soon as Ningyu removed the ice crystal, the protruding stone completely shattered with a crack. Shio. The sudden change caused Ningyu to be a little stunned. However, just as he was in a daze, a black box suddenly rushed out from the stone and went straight for him. Damn it. This unforeseen event caused Ningyu's expression to change greatly. He quickly put the cold ice crystal into his storage bag, then clenched his right hand into a fist and punched the box. Crack. In the next moment, there was only a crisp sound, and then the black box was smashed into 2 pieces. Ha ha ha, I'm finally out. Just as the black box broke, a loud laughter rang out. Ningyu was slightly shocked, and quickly took a few steps back and looked into the distance. Who's talking? The essence qi in the cyclone surged, and Ningyu secretly became alert and asked in a deep voice. That voice sounded again. Are you blind? Can't you see that I'm under your feet? Under my feet? Ningyu was startled, and his eyes looked down. Under his feet was a black puppy the size of a grain of rice. If one did not look closely, they would not be able to see it. Woof woof. The black puppy barked twice, and gradually grew larger, until it was the size of a normal dog. Kid, I see that your bones are amazing, why don't you learn how to cook from me? The black puppy stood on its hind legs and placed its front paws behind its back, like a swindler. Ningyu's lips twitched, and he asked again, what the hell are you? The black puppy shook its head and said slowly, I'm not a thing, I'm the Emperor of Darkness. You can call me the Emperor of Darkness. Emperor of Darkness? Ningyu was a little confused. What the hell was the Emperor of Darkness? He had never heard of it before. The black puppy waved its paws and continued, don't worry about my identity for now, hand over the ice crystals, and I'll spare your life. Ningyu was startled, and he took out the ice crystals from his storage bag. The black puppy's eyes lit up when it saw the ice crystals in Ningyu's hand. It lunged at Ningyu's palm. Whoosh! Who was Ningyu? How could he let go of the ice crystals that he had gotten his hands on? With a flick of his wrist, he kept the ice crystals back into his storage bag. Kid, you're asking for it. The black puppy was enraged when it missed its target. It's none of your business whether I'm asking for it or not. I advise you to get lost now, or I'll teach you a lesson. Ningyu shrugged and said calmly. Through his previous observation, Ningyu had discovered that the black puppy's cultivation was the same as his, the peak of the postliminary realm. At the same cultivation level, Ningyu, who had 2 energy whirlpools, was not afraid of anyone. No, he was not afraid of any dog. You want me to teach you a lesson? The black puppy bared its sharp teeth, its bright eyes glowing fiercely. It stomped on the ground with its hind legs and charged at Ningyu. When it reached Ningyu, the black puppy extended a sharp paw and swiped at Ningyu's neck. Although it looked a little bloated, its speed was not slow. Ningyu had been guarding against the black puppy. When its paw swiped at him, Ningyu struck out with his palm, hitting the puppy's head. It howled in pain and flew backward. Ningyu looked at his palm, then at the black puppy on the ground. He frowned slightly and asked doubtfully, Dark Emperor, Dark Emperor? The black puppy struggled to stand up and said angrily, Kid, how dare you doubt my title? If not for my cultivation being sealed in the Elixir Dragon Valley, I would have taken your dog. Ah! Help, what are you doing? How dare you disrespect the dignified Emperor of Darkness? Stepping on the black puppy's tail, Ningyu said coldly, Tell me, why are you fighting with me over the chilly ice crystal? With its tail stepped on by Ningyu, the black puppy rolled its eyes and said, The chilly ice crystal is a great treasure, priceless. Who wouldn't want it? Is that so? I think you won't shed a tear until you see your coffin. Ningyu raised his eyebrows. He gathered his essence energy on the sole of his foot and stomped down hard. A powerful force exploded from the black puppy's body. Its body flashed and it actually escaped from under Ningyu's foot. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.